Sandra all the time is here with a cold heart true. She's the ears and the eyes for me and you. Every day, everyone want to hear from Sandra. And every time on the air, she's getting better. Tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mama, call Sandra in the morning and in the evening. They always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, they calling Sandra.
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth-telling, more problem-solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. CMR land. Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday.
It is Friday. It is
Friday.
the last Friday of the month. Boogie Nights is tonight. Sandbar.
Wow.
Yeah, let's get some news. Here we go.
Good morning, Oliver.
Big news. I have some important news for you. Interesting news.
It's Blake and Darren's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
K-Man's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
All right, let's get some Friday headlines from CMR. And Sandy, good morning.
Good morning, Blake. And Erin is somewhere out there.
Yeah.
She'll be back on Monday, right?
Hi, Sandy.
Everybody's been wondering.
She's around.
Everybody needs a vacation.
Getting coffee.
All right. So a couple of things this morning. Unfortunately, a man passed away after collapsing on a sailing boat. Now, I know the police said that it was a fishing boat, but our very reliable sources said that they've gotten the boat type wrong. It's actually a sailing boat. And we unfortunately heard about it at the moment that it happened pretty much. So,
but you could fish off of it if you wanted to.
I guess you can fish off of any vessel.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So yesterday morning during our show, I mean, you probably were getting the news alerts as well. Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction was overturned in New York.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty shocking. But nonetheless, it seems to be a legal technicality. So the New York government, I guess the Attorney General's office, will have to decide how to proceed. But the good news is he remains in jail for another rape that he was convicted of in the state of California.
Yeah, he'll never see the light of day.
Yeah, for which he was given 16 years in prison. So fear not, folks. The system kind of works sometimes. Mm-hmm. All right. Let me see here. Oh, yes. The police have recovered a firearm from a crashed vehicle. This is interesting. They have said that they were carrying out investigations after recovering this firearm from a car abandoned by its driver after a chase on Tuesday.
Wow.
Reports are that about 11:45 in the morning, police were conducting a vehicle checkpoint. I know you guys are always cursing about these vehicle checkpoints, but here you go. Here's one time we know it worked. So they were conducting one on South Sound Road. You probably heard about this incident. I know I heard about it. When a vehicle was observed attempting to avoid the area. The vehicle was signaled to stop, but it failed to comply with the officers and sped off in the direction of Georgetown, driving at a dangerous speed. And the police followed the vehicle at a safe speed and distance, and the person then discarded the vehicle. And when they recovered it, they found a firearm. They also have the vehicle as evidence. So I guess if you know anything about this situation, please reach out to the RCIPS for to assist them.
So they didn't get the person; they got the firearm. The person got away.
So far,
Mm.
yes, they've processed it forensically, so it's probably only a matter of time. No. Hold on. My apologies.
Standing by.
A 32-year-old man from Town surrendered to custody later in the day in relation to the matter and is currently assisting police with their pending and further investigations. So they've got somebody. We'll see.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. Congratulations to Shankar. He is a local photographer. Pictures by Shankar. He has picked up the Trailblazer Award. Came out in Style Fashion Week Trailblazer Award that happened last week. And he does photography, and he also works for is it the airport that he works for, Cayman Airways? I want to say it's the airport, but he's always a friendly face there at the airport whenever you're traveling. So congratulations to him. He's a photographer, and he says that this has been a remarkable decade and journey for him with patience, determination, and most importantly, God's blessings. Mm-hmm. So well done. The U.S. is now requiring that all airlines refund you cash for canceled flights over a certain amount of time. So the United States Department of Transportation is rolling out some new rules, which will require airlines to automatically give cash refunds to passengers for canceled and significantly delayed flights. According to the new DOT rules, refunds must be issued within 7 business days and must be in cash or the original form of payment, unless the passenger chooses another form of compensation. Airlines can no longer issue refund in the form of vouchers or credits when consumers are entitled to receive cash. Airlines now have 6 months with which to comply with the rules. One final thing, library services is having a family fun day on Sunday. So go ahead and check this out. They're going to have a variety of fun games, prize raffles, refreshments, and more on tomorrow between 10:30 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. at the West Bay Public Library. So go check out the event. Sure to be a lot of fun for kids.
Yeah. What are you doing this weekend?
Capella.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Yep. And that's all I got planned.
I will be up on stage tomorrow bringing on Richard Marx.
I was going to say, are you going to be performing? Did I not know this?
I'll be performing.
Richard Marx? Oh, my gosh.
The Richard Marx. He'll be on stage tomorrow afternoon at about 3:50 p.m. So just before 4. And so give me a shout if you're in the crowd.
I will.
And then I'm also preparing for my son's first ever friend sleepover. Have you had one of those yet? Has G had one of those yet?
No, I'm not a believer in sleepovers.
You're not a believer in sleepovers?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about it one day. But
all right.
You guys have fun.
Yeah, we're preparing.
So how old is he? He's 5 or 6 now.
He's 5.5. He'll be 6 this year. So
all right. So
yeah,
sleepover and pizza.
That's
Netflix
it. Pizza night. Pizza Friday night.
Yes. All right.
All right. So if you're around tomorrow, I'll see you at Capella.
Oh, for sure.
All right. See you, Sandy.
Have a good one. Have a good weekend.
All right.
Yes, honey child. Y'all done know the score with the sleepovers. Not I. Under no circumstances. Don't even ask. No. All right. Good morning, everybody. Give me 1 second. Let me just send out my links. Yes. Oh, I need to grab the Facebook one. Hold on, honey, chill. Honey, chilling. Yes. Okay. So let me just grab. I know y'all are a little bit slow this morning to get up. What's with the Friday vibe? Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. What's up? All right. Give me 1 second here. Righty ho. Right. Okay, there we go. We've got some guests on this morning, and then we're going to have open mic. We're going to be talking about, remember I told you we're going to start putting our list together of what you guys would like in your MPs. We're going to start with that this morning. Yay. Let me make sure the phone lines are open. We're going to give away some more Capella tickets, which, by the way, looks like general admission is just about sold out, honey chow. I saw a message this morning. I'm like, what? General admission is sold out? Oh, my gosh. What on earth? Yes, sir. What a thing. Good morning to Miss Daisy. Good morning to Ron. All the way from, which island is Ron on again? I forget which island. Somebody says, what's the story behind the no sleepovers? I'm curious. Oh, I kind of figured everybody probably heard me talk about this before, but maybe not. So I guess people pop on and off of the show sometimes. So this really comes down to child safety. And of course, I know everybody is like, nope, I'm the best parent. And I will always safeguard my child no matter what. But there's a certain precedent that you set with children once you believe in, once it's done in one direction, it's kind of hard for you to tell children no sleepovers in the other direction. So if you have a very firm policy, and this is what I find with children, I mean, you can certainly give me your opinion on this. Generally speaking, with parenting and parental rules, is that you can't give kids an inch with certain things. Unfortunately, I know it sounds very, very harsh, but a lot of times it is just best to have a no policy than a, oh no, but in these circumstances, we're going to change the rules. And then in this way, we're going to change the rules. Then we're going to change the rules here. No. Children get a lot really confused when there's like a sliding scale. So if it's no, it's no, and there's no negotiating. And that's my position on a lot of things when it comes to children, It's like, okay, no makeup until you're of a certain age, or, no, I don't know what other rules you have with your children, but whatever they are, I think the firmer they are, obviously, the better for your children. So really, it's, for me, a child safeguarding issue, and that a lot of times you're exposing your children to people who will harm them. And it's not that the host is necessarily the person. Sometimes you send kids over and there's a stepdad around, or, other people, brothers, older siblings and cousins and whatever in that household. And you don't understand the danger that they pose to your children. It's like the father that we were talking about the other day at the sleepover, who was drugging children. So that was pretty wild, because he was the hosting parent. I don't know where the mother was. I can't say where the mother was in that situation, but that was very, very shocking that, his motives towards the children that his daughter was hosting were not very good. I mean, I was shocked to even hear that story, but on the other hand, these are things that happen. Now, that's an extreme case, I'm sure of it, but, you just say no. And then your children know not to even ask after the first couple times. They can tell their little friends, nope, I'm not allowed to have sleepovers. Sorry. I already know that my mom is going to say no to that. You can come, have a play date, and then you leave, you go back to your yard, and you sleep at your own yard. Yep. And I don't want it in the opposite direction either, because honestly, I don't want to take any responsibility for your children. Not that anybody's in my household really, but still, I don't want no kind of mixed up carry come story. Sleep in your yard, sleep with your parents. Mm-hmm. So that's the short answer. YouTuber says, yep, no sleepovers either way for me. My kids aren't sleeping over, and I'm not having your kids sleep over. Amen. Hallelujah.
Praise the Lord.
Very, very firm rules. And I know, sometimes kids feel the pressure because they go over to a play date and they're like, oh, but after the play date, everybody else is going to be staying over. And I said, well, you're not everybody else, honey Jail. You are so special. Mm-hmm. That's just how it works. Good morning, everybody. Ms. Pat says that some things are just not negotiable in parenting. That's for sure. But you know what I have found, and every day I kind of see these things more and more. So I guess it shouldn't surprise me. But it does occur to me that we have a very sliding scale of what we allow, not just with children, but just generally speaking in our community, the things that we kind of tolerate and put up with. So I see this all the time, quite frankly. Even yesterday was a perfect example of this. When someone breaks the rules, everybody's like, oh, because we like them, let's allow them to break the rules without any consequences. And I'm just like, isn't that interesting? Well, I'll be darned. Y'all just don't even y'all not seeing the forest for the trees. Yep. Oh, but Sandy. Oh, let me turn on where's my remote control? Oh, but Sandy, give him another chance. I'm like, how many chances do y'all expect to get? About 50? Y'all don't believe in applying rules at all. Oh no, we like him. Oh my goodness. I'm like, oh, that's not the point. It kind of reminds me of this little girl. Gather in class. I'm going to tell y'all a flashback story from when I was a kid living in Tampa. My aunt, as many of you probably have gleaned from now, was very, very strict. She was, listen, if she said no, you didn't even ask. You knew not to eat. Don't even go there because not gonna work. But she wasn't strict with other people's children. So I always found it very, very interesting when we'd have people visit. So we had this friend, her name was Amanda, and she would visit from Cayman a couple of times. My aunt was friends with her, I guess that would have been her aunt, her grand aunt or something. But anyway, she came to visit, and she's younger than me, probably by a couple of years. I can't remember exactly how much younger, but she was a little bit faster than me. Right. So, she dressed different in a way that I certainly was not accustomed to and not allowed to dress, even if I wanted to. And I remember she would come over and do certain things and she would get away with it. I was like, what the heck? She would get away with it because she was cute, apparently. And everybody was like, oh, little Amanda, you're so cute. Oh, my goodness. So as children, of course, even as a child, I didn't understand what was really going on here, but I'm like, why is there such a discrepancy in how people are treated? And I'm like, I have to follow the rules, but she doesn't. My aunt was like, well, I'm not responsible for her really, and I'm not raising her. And I'm like, even so, she's in your household right now visiting for summer. I would expect the same rules to apply. And man, she used to get it over in her aunt. Oh my gosh, who was her primary caregiver. Ooh, honey child, she would do the most. And then all she'd do is bat her little eyes. She had little eyelashes. She just bat her little eyelashes, smile, and auntie, and bat her little eyelashes. And she was literally getting away with murder. So it should be no surprise that this young girl turned into, had a bit of trouble as an adult, because we allow children, for whatever reason, cuteness, whatever. I mean, I don't know all the reasons why we sometimes do it, but we allow children to push boundaries like nothing. We have sometimes that we weren't even permitted to do, but we allowed children to do so. And so, eventually she went on to have issues with drugs and other things, promiscuity and other things in life. And I must admit that I was never surprised at any of that, because there was no real firm rules for her. And, even as a child, I was like, okay, what a hot mess. Pretty wild, pretty wild. Anyway, happy Friday to everyone. I don't believe in corporal punishment for children. I don't think that you have to beat them into submission. But I think what you need to do is you need to be consistent with your messaging. It can't be one way today, one way tomorrow, sliding rules, up and down all over the place. No, you have very firm rules, and it is what it is. Children like routines, and well, let me not say that they like it, but they need routines. And in fact, lots and lots of research has shown that they crave that kind of structure. And so it's really, really important to put those things in place. Yep. Yeah. So I tell you guys that Cesar Millan, he's one of my favorites when it comes to dog training. But a lot of what he said, Caesar's Rules, he used to have a show. I always wish that I watched his show before I had my first dog, and as an adult, before I had Oscar, because Oscar was a handful, and I could have used some of Caesar's guidance and wisdom. But one of the things that Caesar always said is that dogs need three things: rules, boundaries, and limitations. And I apply that to children as well, because it's very, very true, not just to children, but people in general: rules, boundaries, and limitations. And you, most oftentimes, he would say, get that in the form of exercise, discipline, and then affection is the third thing. So you do it in that order. And I think what ends up happening to us as human beings is we dump on the affection. Like, we're very, very heavy on the affection. And for us, what that means is that you, because you love something, or you believe that you love something, you just want to, oh, mommy loves you. And so then that means that you don't set any boundaries for children. You don't give them any rules or anything like that. And of course, children are really, really smart. They have a way of figuring you out really quickly. They're smart, and they know what works. Even babies, they know what works on you. And so when you don't give them the right amount of those things, so you do it in the wrong order, even like you're all about, oh, I'm going to just tell you I love you every day and hug you up and squeeze you up and the affection, then you miss out on the other stuff. So it's very, very important to set a structure in place for children. And in fact, in my mind, you really show that you love your children when you put rules, boundaries, and limitations in place, as opposed to letting them be like wild children and free for all. People have different parenting techniques. I've seen, even when my daughter was in like daycare, she was at CASA, one of the Montessori schools. There was a parent there, and she really, really liked her daughter. My daughter liked her daughter, and vice versa. But their parenting style was different, and they were Caribbean people. So I was always really surprised, because most Caribbean people are known to be a little bit tougher, as opposed to, say, our American or European counterparts. When I say tougher, I mean like stricter, right? And so these people were in a totally different. Their parents were professionals and whatever, but they were in a totally different mode when it came to parenting. They were like, oh, just let them do whatever. And I was like, wow. It was more of like, we're just going to meditate about this. And I was like, okay, but you need to have some rules in place. So, when your children hang out with those other children, and they see that it rubs off, of course it rubs off on them. And they think, oh, well, why do I have to follow rules and whatever when my friend doesn't? She can kind of do whatever she wants. You have to remind your children, I'm not your friend's parent, so I can't set the tone for what they do and what they don't do. What I do know is what we do in this household. And so you're my responsibility. And, there's accountability in terms of that. But I was always surprised. I remember going to a pool party that they hosted at one of the really nice hotels on island, and they had two children at that point, and the youngest one, who was probably maybe 3 at the time, she was running, and she was permitted to run around that pool with like ledges and I was just like surprised that she never ran into like a concrete column and knocked herself out. That's how crazy she was able to just run free. And they were like, oh, she's having such a great time. Like, this child's going to drown in the water. But, everybody has their own parenting. I try not to be too critical of other parents, but I do see things that certainly make me pause and give me concern. Yeah. And then when your children see that, like, oh, and I'll never forget, something happened and they had to move from that school. And as soon as that child left, the teachers, actually, I didn't say anything about it, but the teachers, and my husband's like, oh, she's going to pick her own friends and we have to give her a little bit of leeway to be able to do that. Even if you're like, okay, I don't want this type of parenting or this child to be rubbing off of my kid, you got to give her a little bit of leeway to have her friends. And I was like, ugh. So I remember she moved away and the teachers, the next evaluation made the observation that our daughter had come out so much into her own, like they could see the difference in the space of like 1 to 2 months of how much she had grown. And, just her communication, like everything, like she wasn't, because what was happening is that she was kind of holding on to this other child a little bit too much. And so they said that, wow, we saw her really open up in class and started to assert herself and answer questions on her own. And, so I think just like people, children are people, but, they have a way sometimes of following and not really being leaders, especially if they're around very, very strong personalities and maybe their personality is a little bit different. So you got to keep an eye on your children to see what type of children they are. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go make some adjustments to the air conditioning, honey chill. Something we got to sort out the fact that I can't do it from the phone because something's a bit amiss with that. Hold on 1 second.
Ocean Ridge Heights offers an amazing opportunity to own a piece of land in idyllic Cayman Brac, right on the bluff, starting from $80,000. Located in a quiet residential area with high elevation, these lots are ideal for a future home or investment property and are sure to go fast. Cayman Brac offers a laid-back lifestyle, amazing pristine diving, limestone caves, diverse flora, along with amazing wildlife. Inquire about the owner financing options so that you can secure your piece of paradise today. With only a few lots remaining, these are sure to go before you know it. Contact Crichton Properties today on 345-949-5250 or info@crichtonproperties.com.
All right, folks, get yourself some of that Brac land. I'm telling you, now's the time to do it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, everybody's got different parenting styles, but I think that we, can be very, and this is where I see us go from like 0 to 1,000, and where you lose control. Because if your messaging isn't consistent, your behavior towards your children isn't more even keel and consistent, when they start to act out, you just lose it. You're like, what is wrong with you? And then you're yelling and screaming all over the place. And, then they're getting upset and it's just a whole, the whole hot mess. So I always encourage people to, try to be more consistent with children. I think consistency is very, very key. And you kind of have to start very, very early as well. All right, we're waiting on some guests to come. So somebody was asking me, what's the difference between, let me just read the question. Talk to us, Sandra. Explain the differences between rules, boundaries, and limitations. Well, I think that, like I said, it has to be done in that order. So rules, obviously, you have to set what the rules of engagement are going to be. So like, you have to brush your teeth twice a day. That's a rule. When you get up in the morning and before you go to bed, you've got to have your bath. When you come from school, you have to empty your lunch kit. Those are the rules. And we all have these rules, like only, half an hour of screen time. And then you've got to read a book every single day. So these are some of the rules that we try to operate by in our household. And so you set the rules. Then you go from that to boundaries. To me, boundaries and limitations kind of go hand in hand with each other. So children, and not just children, as we saw even yesterday, adults will always push the limits of the rules. So once people know what the rules are, they will test your rules. And so in testing your rules, you have to decide how firm you're actually going to be. And it is so easy, especially with children, when they test your rules, to let it slide for different reasons. Sometimes you're just tired. Sometimes you're in the grocery store and children know how to do stuff in public where you're like, oh, I don't want to just grab this kid right now and show them who's boss. So I'm going to just ignore it and let them run around the grocery store and let them, because they think that you don't want to show a certain side of yourself in public. Because of course, parents are always thinking, oh, people are judging me as a parent. Am I too strict? Am I this? Am I that? So sometimes we tend to be a lot more laid back when it comes to our children in public spaces. Yeah. And I think the opposite is what you need to do. Well, you should be consistent. So whatever your personality is in public and private with your children, your rules and boundaries, you also need to transcend that and transfer that rather into public as well. Because children will know, oh, I'm at a party, I'm at the grocery store, I'm at an event, I can just wild out. And mom and dad are going to be like, oh, we can't say anything to her because we don't want other parents looking at us or other people. But back in the day, our parents used to have a little something where they could just give you that look. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all might remember. They had a look, honey child. And when they flashed you the look, that was your warning. Because I was like, what's coming next. And they were, it was more acceptable for parents to probably grab you a little bit and string you up in public than it is now. But, I don't believe in corporal punishment. I don't really believe in stringing kids up like that because I don't think you have to do it if you've been consistent throughout. So, so that's your boundaries and your limitations. Like there is a limit, right? You set the rules. These are the boundaries. People are going to push those boundaries. And then there's a limit. We can't go past this. And so, like I said, even yesterday on this program, true to form, we hit a limit. And a lot of you who were defending the foolishness, I said, had you been paying attention? Even in the past week and a half since the rule has been put in place, somebody was testing the boundaries of that rule. They were pushing it. And yesterday I said, okay, we've now reached the limit and there will be consequences for doing so. And it wasn't a situation where I was like upset or anything like that. I hope y'all recognize that a lot of times I remain very calm, cool, and collected, honey chill. And when I enforce it, it's just with a stern hand, but it is what it is. It's like, let's get it. Good morning, caller.
Yeah. Hey, morning, Sandra.
Morning.
Thanks to you. Sandra, just calling in quickly. I saw something this past week that I was so happy to see. And I do pray we will see more of it. The sidewalks opposite UTCI and I think it's called, was it Clifton Hunter? I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Someone, I suspect it's the government, has painted a really nice pattern. It looks like a pedestrian or cyclist. I'm suspecting it's a pedestrian walk path. There's a really nice green, and it illuminates the road. It looks so healthy and happy and bright.
It's a nice what? Say that again.
It's a pathway. It starts on the Walker's Road junction. Walker's. I guess. Okay.
So Walker's Road in South Sound?
No.
Oh.
It's going to UCCI.
Okay.
What's it called? The Truman Garden Sports Complex, but it stops right at the Clifton Hunter for now. I don't know if it's going to exceed past.
You mean John Gray, not Clifton Hunter?
I'm sorry. Yeah, John Gray. and it really is refreshing and bright, and it just perks your, for me, it just perks your mind and just lifts you up to bright, happy scenery. And I say that because I remember a couple of months ago there was a project that it was a beautification project. I can't remember who it is from. One of our local beautification groups, and they were a beautiful job because I saw some of their work throughout Georgetown.
Okay.
And I was so disappointed to hear that the government took issue with it because they felt it was supporting or.
Yes. So that was Miss Romelia and her group, Came Unkind Committee.
Yes, and I'm sharing this nostalgia because I think I really pray that they don't get overly discouraged, and I pray that the government is listening. That was an excellent initiative, believe me,
Yes.
and I they would continue that all throughout these Cayman Islands because it really adds a beautiful little, accent of just you're in traffic and whatever is happening, and you see these beautiful colors, it perks you up. Another thing I just want to share briefly because I think you got someone waiting for you, but coming from Lower Valley, Bordentown, I think it is, I saw the speed limit painted on the roadway.
Yes, we're going to be talking about that this morning as well. Yeah.
And that's another thing that I think is an excellent effort to help, road awareness and speed limits and stuff like that. So I just want to quickly call to support these and please continue those works that people are doing, the government or whoever is doing. It really very beneficial. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes, we're actually going to be talking about a few of those things this morning. So thanks very much to that caller for highlighting those. Beautification and keeping our island clean. We see that the Department of Environmental Health is doing their annual, now it's more than annual, it's a couple times a year, where they do the bulk waste cleanup. So we'll talk a little bit about that this morning because they're actually starting now in West Bay. So go ahead and get all of your bulk waste items ready for collection. But we do have guests waiting. So we are going to go ahead and invite them on the program, and we're going to talk about why they're here this morning. And so let's go ahead and do that. We are very, very pleased. Don't worry, Johan. Wait for get your popcorn and your coffee ready for later in the program. But keep tuned in, folks, because this is really important stuff that we're going to be discussing here this morning. So the Ministry of Health and Wellness has a number of initiatives that they're focused on throughout the year. And one of those is the National Health Strategy Policy Consultation. So we're here to learn exactly what that is and what that means for we, the people of the Cayman Islands. So first of all, let me welcome the Minister of Health and Wellness, and that is none other than the Honorable Sabrina Turner. Good morning, Minister.
Good morning and happy Friday, everybody. Pleasure to be here.
Yes, happy Friday, absolutely. Now I'm getting a little feedback from you. I'm not sure why that is.
It's just me.
It's just you.
Yep.
All right. So we may get you to just mute yourself in between. Yeah, because I'm not sure what's causing the feedback there.
It's just me.
Yeah, might just be sometimes I find that if you don't use like a microphone or a headset, these computers get a little bit wonky. But I think you're doing it from your phone.
Yes, I have to.
Okay.
And I'm alone this morning, so it's not like we're sharing the space.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Just mute it for me.
Sure.
Yeah, because it's giving me some little like crickets or something. I'm not sure what that is. Okay. Very good. That's fine. Thank you so much. All right. So we do have also joining us this morning is Chief Nursing Officer Felicia McLean. So good morning to Miss Felicia.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Minister, I'm not sure if you have access to headsets, but maybe if you do, try that. If not, we'll just have to mute you off and on. Yes. So let's get into this. Now, first of all, Felicia, you're in a new position, so I think it's worth talking a little bit about this. Now, you were actually formerly with Jasmine, is that right? I'm
Yes,
trying to
ma'am.
remember.
Yes.
Uh-huh. All right, so tell us a little bit about what you're now doing as the Chief Nursing Officer.
Yeah, definitely. Happy to. So this is an inaugural position for the Cayman Islands. In the past, the Chief Nursing Officer sat within HSA and provided guidance for the ministry if and when needed. Thanks to the Honorable Minister and the government, they recognized that after pulling out the CMO from the authority, that they also should pull out the Chief Nursing Officer. Hence, now this position sits in the ministry to give the ministry guidance in regards to all nursing matters, nursing, midwifery, healthcare in general. So it's a huge honor to sit in this role and be the first of its kind to help shape and move the government forward and just ensure the standards and practices for nursing care across the islands.
Yeah, this is fantastic. And as the Chief Nursing Officer, you come with 26 years of experience in nursing, having qualified as a licensed practical nurse at the then Cayman Islands Hospital, which is now the HSA, back in 1997. So lots of years behind you in the profession, and continuing your career, commencing with a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing at Barry University, graduating in 2003. And serving, as we all know, most of us, I think, know you from Jasmine, which was formerly Cayman Hospice Care, for 18 years, where you started as a trainee palliative nurse and worked your way up to the Director of Operations. So absolutely wonderful, Felicia, to have you here, and congratulations on this historical position of the Chief Nursing Officer for the Cayman Islands.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. So here we are again, and just to be clear, her role provides strategic oversight for standards of nursing education, regulation, and practice across the three islands. And this is really important because, we have a School of Nursing at UCCI. More and more, the profession of nursing is growing. So we can see where this is extremely important to the continued professional expansion and growth of all things medical services in the Cayman Islands. And nurses play such a key and important role.
They do. We actually make up 50% of the workforce from a healthcare perspective, which is huge. And so ensuring that the nursing, the needs for nurses continues to be met, and that the standards are what we need it to be to ensure safe practice within the Cayman Islands is huge.
Yes, absolutely wonderful. All right. So we are here now today, Minister, to talk about this new initiative. And so can you tell us a little bit about what the National Health Strategic Public Consultation is really all about?
Well, this particular document that we're trying to actually modernize has been a document that the last time it was done was in 2012, and that was only good for 5 years. And the document is really needed to ensure that the government or government's direction for health and healthcare systems is meeting the needs of the people of the Cayman Islands, both now and into the future. And that is why this particular strategy is going to be done for 10 years.
Wow. So
it's an overarching document that defines this 10-year strategic direction, which, again, will set the tone, the pace, provide that guidance for our people and the industry for 10 years.
This is fantastic. So we see an expansion then, essentially from a 5-year document to a 10-year document. Can you tell us why you've decided to expand it from 5 to 10 years?
Due to the complexity, it's better for planning, understanding an administration where election is concerned is every 4 years. When you look at how quickly time is passing and how complex and how we've evolved, how healthcare industry here is evolving, we felt that we would get more mileage out of a 10-year document that now will include also an operational plan that wasn't in the last document. So we felt that we would get more out of it. And some may wonder, well, why has it taken 3 years pretty much for us to get this document? Bearing in mind, since I've taken office and as your Minister of Health and Wellness, it has taken me close to 2 2.5 years to upskill the ministry with the necessary resources and skill sets in order to even meet the broad outcomes of government at pace. And when you look at the complexities and the amount of legislation that is required to make some of these changes, that in itself was a hindrance. So the mere fact that my ministry team, we've just successfully completed the STEP survey. Now we're embarking on this thanks to the assistance and our ability to be able to engage Pan American Health Organization, which for the full record and for full disclosure is not costing this island 1 cent. So we're not being charged for that. And we've been a part of the Pan American Health Organization since 2001. So their strategic skill set and ability to help us bring this particular document over the finish line is something that comes as a benefit from being a member of that organization.
Wow. Okay. Very good. So I'm supposing, Felicia, that this is your first major initiative that you are sort of responsible for spearheading, if you will, with your new position. So tell us a little bit about, what you understand the parameters of this National Health Strategic Policy Consultation to be.
So thanks for that question. I am actually not spearheading this. I am joining the bandwagon. This is not something that started. I've only been in the role for exactly 1 month. And so this is something I've jumped on board because of my passion for seeing healthcare meet the highest standards possible and ensuring, like I said, the safety of the community, that their needs are met. This healthcare strategy is amazing because when the people of the Cayman Islands across the spectrum, from the nonprofit organizations, the faith-based organizations, the key people in government, the boards, the councils, and everyone puts their voice in, it will inform the government for the next 10 years on what healthcare should look like from, do we have enough funds to pay for it? Can we get the right access? Do we have the right services? Even outside of that, in regards to the coverage and stuff, it's encompassing everything, including our environment. So how does our environment play into healthcare? What's our air quality like? What is food sustainability? What is the youth and their ability to have the right kind of resources to stay healthy, the right food options? All of those things tie in. And so really, this is an opportunity for our Caymanian people and everyone living in the Cayman Islands to let their voice be heard and speak for a policy that's going to set the pace and the tone and the expectation and the standard for the next 10 years. I'm excited to be a part of it.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that additional information. We do have a caller in the line. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Barry once again.
Morning, Barry.
I just want to say my mother was in the hospital, I guess about 2 months ago. Time goes so fast, I'm not sure. But anyway, she had a broken hip at 91 in 2 places.
Oh my goodness.
I've since called the hospital. I think I called your show to say what a wonderful job the surgical ward has done. I mean, they kept us informed. They explained everything. The doctors, everybody was wonderful. That entire ward. I just want to public say thank you to them, especially while the minister and the head nurse there. I just want to take this opportunity to say that I believe in, it's easy for people to call about negative stuff all the time. Myself working in a government department, often people will nitpick at a lot of the negatives and they won't praise some of the good.
Yes.
And I say every opportunity I get and I see good, I try to acknowledge. Sometimes if I don't even call the radio, I will call the heads of department and I would, congratulate them on the services that they're doing. I've done this with the credit union. I've done this with the hospital, a couple of times and so on. But I just want to say once again, since I realized the minister's on and the head nurse there, I hope I got the head nurse title correct.
Chief nursing officer. Yes.
and by the way, congrats on your new post.
Thank you.
But overall, I think the health services is doing a great job. I've experienced it, so it's not something I'm making up. It's something I've experienced with my mother, and what have you.
Yes. Well, please.
So keep up the great job,
thank
Minister.
you so
keep
much.
up the great job, you and your gang.
Yes, thank you so much, and thank you, and I hope your mom continues to recover fully.
Yeah. And I also like to say in closing, if anybody could, anytime you see positive in the department, let's big up some of the government departments when we see good is going, because it's easy to complain about the negatives. I mean, having said that, we can't ignore the negative, because that makes us improve. But let's praise the good too. Let's praise the good as well.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Appreciate it, Barry. Okay,
Bye-bye.
Minister, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Sorry, I realize it's probably easier for me to mute you.
Yes, I want to thank that caller, and we continue to definitely. The team is building so nicely, and I am so proud of the efforts that has been put in thus far, especially by the chief officer, Ms. Nellie Pucci, who pretty much we both started at the same time, and coming off the heels and being charged as I got into office with the reopening of this jurisdiction, and looking at the skill sets when we were open and health could go back to running as a ministry outside of dealing with COVID and regulations around that. We were playing catch up, and I want to thank my cabinet colleagues for supporting me. Ms. Felicia is in this position right now. This has always been a vision of mine, to have the chief nursing officer placed in the ministry, so that we get a national perspective. And I am pleased with her. It's been a pleasure working with her. This is our 8th interview, actually 7th interview this week. And just how we continue to grow. And I just want to publicly thank the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and especially Ms. Nellie Pucci for not giving up on me, and especially the DG as well, who is very supportive in whatever pretty much I ask for. They are here and they're working their best in the limited time that I do have left in this role to deliver for me. And I have every faith and trust that they will make us proud.
Thank you so much. We do have another caller on the program. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning to everyone. And I don't have to identify myself because everybody knows who I is, but I agree with what the previous caller said. Yes. When you get the positive, you say positive, but sometimes you get negative too. Not all the time you get positive. And I've been to the hospital recently with my husband, and yes, I got good service the other day, but I've been there before and got poor service too. So yes, 2 things I don't do, that's steal and lie. If you hear me say somebody treated me good, you could believe it. With pride or whatever, but if they treat me bad, yes, I can speak out about it, but I do tell lies on people. So yes, sometimes you meet up in some good positive people, but sometimes you meet up in some real pigs too. They rule about how the snout and the tail. So yes, I agree with what he said, but not all the time you get positive.
Yes.
Sometimes you get negative. And what he was saying about in the custom department and thing, whatever, yes, sometimes you meet up with some nice people there, but sometimes you meet up with some just because they think that because they're custom and they got you don't have no rights and they want to treat you like pigs. And like I am a Leo and I'm afraid of nobody. And yes, if you give me good service, I got a big yacht, and if you give me poor service, I can stare you down. So,
all right, honey. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, go.
Yes, ma'am. And did you speaking of I'm glad you called. Did you get a phone call after you spoke to me the other day?
No, this call and I called me, but I got bad yesterday and all now they now give me no response on why I want. But I have a 10:30 appointment at Camana Bay with him today because I had to get mad with him because I told him if they didn't give me I was gonna call the minister because while the grass growing, the horse is starving and my husband is very sick and he needs right now. So they called me yesterday and said that must be Camana Bay with him at 10:30. And all of us is a dinner one now, and I waiting on my ride, and I get no response about the transportation or nothing. But good thing I got some good things. So
I'm gonna chase that up for you as well. All right, my darling, don't worry.
Like I tell him, I don't think he should be treated how, because he was a big man in the silent. I got what to show. He's the only West Indian that went England to start a fire and brought back what he bring, and I have it. I can show it, and he win that not because he was waiting them English people are like him. He win that for smartness, top student. So he should get good treatment now. That he's. And I ain't song pray for me because I ain't a long haul song like I don't know. One of God can have yes, but anyway, it's
all right.
what it is.
I'll chase up my people for you as well. Not to worry.
All right,
darling. Thanks. Okay, good.
Bye.
All right, we have another caller on the line, and we had somebody else trying to call in. Oh my goodness. All right, let's go to the WhatsApp call. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, honey child. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored beyond all measures.
Yes, wonderful.
Congratulations, Miss Felicia. And good morning, Minister.
Good morning.
And I do agree with the second to last caller regarding criticism does make one stronger and improve where they're not knowledgeable that something needs fixing. I have had a sister who had a stroke, was in the hospital in surgical ward, and she went through some terrible treatment in that hospital. And how it came to the family's attention, a white lady was in the same room with her who happened to be a previous boss of my niece. And when my niece went to visit my sister, my niece, the previous boss called my niece and tell my niece, who asked my niece, who is that lady to her? And she told her it was her aunt. She said, do all you can to get her out of this hospital because she's not being treated right. She had a stroke, and the nurse, it was reported that the nurse was harassing and harassing her and forcing her, telling her to eat. She eat and hurry up and eat because she's not the only patient on the ward that she has to tend to. We don't know what our sick families go through in that hospital, and all can run through my mind is imagine the sick people in there who can't talk. What kind of nurses do we have in that surgical ward? And on top of that, you had a young lady who is the social worker. She stated she was going to put my sister in the ambulance and drop her off home because she had need to go home. Mind we were waiting for hospital bed and to get her home fixed up that she would be able to fit wheelchair in and get her hospital bed and things that she would need. And this girl was so impatient to get my sister out. She told my niece she was going to put her in the ambulance and make the ambulance drop her off at her residence. And you know that did not sit too well with me. I went to that hospital and I asked them, do I have to bring CMR in here? And trust me, when I mentioned that if I have to bring CMR in here, the head nurse came down and started to investigate what was happening and begged not to take it to CMR. I'm sorry, Minister, but we need some cleaning up in that Georgetown hospital. You go into emergency, you need to carry your bed, your blanket, and your pillow. That should not be. When you're on the inside, you really sit down and shake your head to say what is really happening. You got the doctor sitting down there with coffee and crackers and chatting, all kind of ballooning, and people outside in the waiting room. That's not right. We need to see a faster turnover of service at that emergency center. I am sorry, but we really need to step up when it comes on providing services for sick people. It is not right It is not right, and you need to do some fine what you would call coning out through that surgical ward, because then you got some really terrible nurses up there on how they treat their patients. I am so sorry, but this is the Cayman Islands, and we do not serve people, should not be serving people in that manner. I am sorry, ma'am, but it needed to be said.
Well,
So
thank
have a
you. Thank you
blessed
for the
day.
feedback.
Okay.
All right, my dear.
Yes, most definitely. Thank you for the feedback. And these things will all be very helpful as we look at putting together our national strategy. So I ask you to really look out for that survey when it comes, and you'll have some questions that you answer, but you'll have some areas where you can expand upon your experiences, and we welcome all of this feedback.
Yes.
Yes,
Minister.
I want to tell Miss Romelia there was no need to apologize. The mere fact that she has voiced that opinion in this forum and publicly, I can assure you that the people who are in the senior management part of the operational side of the HSA are listening. Now, for the sake of this interview and to address those concerns, my ability to address operational issues as the minister responsible for health, HSA is a statutory authority. I have no remit over their performance and holding people accountable. I have selected a very active board of directors that were supported by my cabinet colleagues. We engage respectfully very often, and the delivery of service is of top priority to me. Anyone who knows me know that's what I stand for. But when it comes to holding those people accountable on that floor for what she has articulated, I am responsible for fighting for the budget on the floor of Parliament. I fight, I win, I get those fundings. It is given to that statutory authority. The CEO of HSA is Miss Lizette Yearwood. She's accountable not even to me. She's accountable to my board of directors. So even if she is not performing up to standard, it is outside my remit to hold her accountable. Every day, I pray that they will just see the bigger picture and hold people, the senior management within these departments, hold their staff accountable. Because I am not one who shunned from my responsibilities. I am not. But what I will do is stay within the confines of what my remit is. But I will not be silent. And I have to inform and educate the people that it hurts me when people call me and tell me they don't have a pillow. The poor service that some receive, however, more recently than none, I have been getting all positive feedback. Now, whether there's work to be done, of course there is. But for holding those people accountable, that falls completely out of your minister's responsibility. The ones to hold them accountable is your CEO, who then holds her department heads accountable for holding the staff on the front line accountable. My board of directors, who I have chosen with support of my cabinet, can only put policies in place and hope that the CEO of HSA is trickling it down. So I am by no means shunning away from my responsibility. That is how the system is set up, and I am doing the best I can, working within the confines, but they cannot say that I am not a minister fighting to give them the funding in order for them to deliver top class service.
Yes. And to be fair to the people over at HSA, I know that Miss Lizette, she's the head of the organization, but a lot of times she doesn't even know and isn't aware of what's going on. So it's important that people, share this information. I guess they're all listening this morning. So this is certainly one way of sharing it. But we do have 3 callers on hold. So let's go to caller number 1 from 6750. Good morning, caller, and welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning, dear.
Just want to say morning to the minister and to Miss Felicia. Congrats.
Thank you.
And I just want to call to just say with the HSA, because I had a baby recently, and I want to just put my hats off to the maternity ward and the woman's health.
Yeah.
Because this time around, I had a good experience. So the HSA in maternity in women's health is really doing good, and it's nice to see some Caymanian doctors as well, because I had experience with one, so it's really nice.
And maternity ward, I mean, I've had experience with them. It's been over 7 years now, but they are absolutely amazing. I mean, I can't say enough positive things about the maternity ward. But thank you so much, caller.
Thank you.
Okay, and then next in line we have 5466. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra. Good morning, Steve.
Morning, dear. How are you?
Not so bad.
Good.
It was a caller on just before the caller. A lady was explaining something about her aunt or something. The experience there. I too witnessed something very, very similar to that in 2 different occasions. Actually, 3 different occasions. At one point, my disabled son was sick with COVID, and he was like in intensive care. His lung even collapsed. And they actually refused to go in and assist this kid. Luckily, we left his phone with him at 4 o'clock in the morning. He had to call us, his parents, so we could call their death for them to go in and check on him because he needed to be assisted. That's totally ridiculous. Fast forward about a year later, my wife had surgery. And she was in there, and the surgery went well. They were pretty attentive to her for sure the first couple of days, but there was a lady there, I never will ever forget this, an older Filipino lady that she was a handful, I must say, but that's what you're there for, to take care of those who are a handful, right? The way that they ignored and neglected, not all of them, they had 2 young Caymanian nurses that was super, but the other nationalities that were there, 2 different nationalities that were there, they totally ignored and left this poor lady to scream and cry for help. What boiled my blood was when I was visiting my wife, and this lady was calling. And as I was leaving, I saw the senior nurse there on her computer, just kind of doodling away and giggling. And I made it my business to tell her. I said, look, don't you hear that lady calling out to you? Don't you know that she needs help? And an Indian nurse was coming, and she directed him to go and assist the lady. I hadn't left yet. I kind of went around the corner, but I just kind of waited to see what would happen. My God, this made it even worse. He came out of the room, and the 2 of them started giggling and outwardly laughing at the situation with the lady. That is totally uncalled for.
Wow.
Totally uncalled for. That's not a way aftercare should be done in any institution. I can understand the minister's point that not her direct remit and responsibility to see the day-to-day goings. But what can be done, from my humble opinion, is that government spends a lot of money on a lot of unnecessary things, and it's proposing $50 million for a lot of unnecessary things. Maybe you could have a nice camera system in there that can show you the day-to-day runnings, because the hospital ain't all bad, and they ain't all bad in that hospital, but there are a few bad elements that is tarnishing the institution. This poor lady that I'm referring to, she had a stroke. She was paralyzed on one side, and she was crying and begging somebody to help her use the bathroom. And that's the way that they went on with her. My God, that is unacceptable and awful. Unacceptable and awful. I don't want to really compare the HSA with the other institution for the East. But when we use up the other institution for the East, there's a network and a teamwork, and no matter how many times you have to go back there, they come back with a smile to where our institution should be. I saw a glimpse of that potential there with the two little Caymanian nurses that was there. But again, as in most job environments and institutions, Caymanians are outnumbered, and they're gonna get outnumbered by expats, and I'm call it straight as it is, and they're gonna be ganged upon and held down. So we need to stop putting our heads in the sand. We need to take off these blinders. We need to be real with what's real with us. We need to address it accordingly. Again, I totally understand the minister's point. It's a chain of protocol here, but there are other ways and measures to deal with things that would keep those on the front line accountable.
Thank you so much, caller. Appreciate that.
You all have a good day.
Okay, dear. Thanks very much. All right. We do have another caller in the line. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, I'm sorry to call back the second time, but one thing I wanted to mention when the minister mentioned about pillows, yes, apparently that's been a long time problem up there from time my brother was there in the 16th of August, gonna be 4 years now since he died, and the pillow, blanket, and coffee cups were the issue when he was in there. And just a couple of days ago when I was up there again, somebody mentioned to me that work there, that the pillows and blankets and stuff is an issue. And I know of 2 incidents with pillow and blankets with other patients that want that the people talking about, I ain't gonna say that, but then I was telling them, I said, well, maybe, and then they said to me, the person said to me the other day, maybe, I said, well, if government do have the money, maybe I could get on the talk show and beg some of these people like Papa Dart, he got plenty of money, and he willing to donate things to the island. Maybe he can donate some pillows, some blankets, and some coffee cups, because I had to take my brother coffee cup with his name on it, and I told him straight when I had come back at that, if I found anybody with it, I wasn't going to give it back to him to drink out of, but I was going to take it to issue with the hospital. So if government can't afford it, maybe some entity wrong-headed got money could maybe make a donation that they can get, because that's a big problem. Pillows, blanket, and coffee cups.
All right, my dear. So listen, we have a friend to the show who was listening to you, and she said that she will assist you with transportation. That's the business that she's in. So she's happy to get you sorted out with that. And I have said to her, you know, whatever contributions financially that needs to be made, she can just let me know, and I'll certainly contribute to that as well. So we got a solution. We're solution driven here. So I'm going to give her your number.
Yeah, till today now I understand. Till today I can probably know when they gonna start the treatment and I understand it's Health City. I can have to go because I remember the other morning when I asked the question, them doctors told me that facility was in Camana Bay, but no, somebody confirmed that yesterday that it is Health City, and that's what I was trying to avoid because that's far for me.
Yeah, the one that you have to go. Well, we'll get you sorted out. Don't worry.
Oh, he got to do the radiotherapy. And they say
that's by Camana Bay.
So then the city don't know. But then I have an appointment on the 10:30 today with him. They might be gonna assess him, so then I'll know where I gotta go. Because this is what I say. I ask his questions. I like to get the right person because some people give you wrong info, and I'm not a person like that. If you hear me say, if somebody asks me something, even when I work in the airport and a tourist asks me something, if I didn't know, I would say, well, sir, or ma'am, and I didn't give wrong info. That's the one thing that I do like with the silent leader, because they be giving people wrong information, and you ask who you think would know, and they still can't. Because, you know, from that day, I've been asking, although I asked it on the show that morning, I still asking. 1 minute they say Camana Bay, and next minute they say it's Health City. Well, then where is the right place? This is my question.
that is Health City. But anyway, we're gonna get you. We're gonna get you sorted out. Not to worry.
I can't be running up and down, so I need to know where it is. If it's up there or it's down there.
Don't worry yourself. Don't worry yourself.
That's the thing that gets me. I mean, where it is, somebody must be know something, but then
Yeah,
they say,
don't worry. We know exactly where it is. We'll have you sorted out today.
All
right, my dear.
I need to take care of, but I got 4 6.
All right, we do have 2 other callers on the line, so we'll get you sorted out today. Not to worry.
God can help me. I
Yeah,
pray every day.
we can help you too. All right, my darling. Good. All right, 9826. You're up next. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning. How you doing?
Morning. Not bad. How are you?
Yeah, that's for the chief. Yeah, I had a surgery almost a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's for the chief of the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And all I can remember when I was going, I don't know how to say it, the anesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
It was an old lady, 80 years old or 75 out there, and I was kind of worried. But anyway, for the anesthetic and I brought fever, I came with the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
When I came with the surgery, I never been good since. My tongue is twisted. I've been to Dr. Thompson. I went back to the hospital, and all it did is started turning me around. If I'm speaking to you, the spit is coming on my side. I can't speak to people. I've been to the hospital explaining to them, no, it's next time. Almost or after a year, I think, no, that's still the same. I didn't get no better, and I cannot do anything because I work with government.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking for anything. All I'm looking for help because I'm not talking to you. I'm drooling on the two sides. The part of my tongue is
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry.
yeah. So they, not asking for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just asking for a little bit of help to rectify me or let me know what went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
All is telling me is time. It is time. In time, I can't eat good. I gotta eat on one side of my mouth because the tongue is twisted. And you can check the record. I've been there several times and nothing done about it.
Oh my God.
And thank you, Mark. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, we do have another caller in the line. Of course, I do want to remind our callers that our guests are here this morning for a very specific reason. I know you guys are kind of venting, and there's no problem with that, but they are here to talk about this National Health Strategic Policy consultation. But I guess this may help you all with the consultation process, getting some of the feedback here this morning as well. But we'll get through some details on that after this caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. I was just about to say what you said.
Yes.
And I just want to encourage everyone that is, venting or complaining, and which is understandable. I too have had terrible experiences, as I have also had great experiences at HSA. So I just want to encourage everyone that, when you visit HSA and you leave there, and sometimes they'll send you a survey, like fill it out. That's your chance to voice your concerns. Whatever they're doing now with this policy, if they send out surveys, like complete it.
Yeah.
Because just as with the census, people are complaining about traffic, but then they want to know why they have to answer the question about where they work and where they live. Because we want to know how far you live from how far you work, because that affects traffic.
Absolutely.
Like, you can't sit and complain, but then you don't want to participate in the very thing that could help make a positive change.
Exactly.
So I just want to encourage everyone listening that fill out the surveys. Yes, it takes a few minutes of your time, but this, you want change, this is how it's going to happen.
Yep.
So thank you to the team that's spearheading that, and congratulations, Felicia. There's no better person I can think of to be in that role.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, caller.
Have a nice day.
All right, my dear.
Okay.
Thanks very much. So, yes, I mean, I do want to get it back on track just a little bit. It looks like, Felicia, I don't know if this falls under your remit or someone in the ministry or the HSA, but it does look like people have a desire to want to vent about their experiences and share their experiences. So maybe there's some way to, Stephanie's reading my mind. She says, does HSA have a formal complaint process? Maybe there is some way to open up the forums for receiving this type of what I consider very, very valuable feedback. So
there is a complaints process, and for the best of my knowledge, I think that is headed up and under the responsibility of Miss Tina McLean. But Miss Lizette is always accessible, understanding she is the CEO. But Miss Tina McLean, if my memory served me well, is the one who is responsible for patient experience So yes, there is a process that you can actually complain. Some people will say, or even, you know, if you get good service, speak about it. If there's areas that needs to be improved, speak about it. But there are persons there to receive the good and the bad. And of course, the border directors, those members are also there. And trust me, they are listening. They are listening, and we are doing our best to show and make improvements in the delivery and quality of service that people receive and are they deserve at our public hospital.
And one more thing I'd like to add, there is also currently a system the HSA is expanding upon, which is their patient service kind of coordinator person. So they've hired several people in those roles so that they can be in different departments to try and improve the patient experience at each level, whether it be inpatient or outpatient care. Now, it might not fix it overnight, but I think HSA is aware that there's areas that they can improve on. There is a way to feedback. They do send you the email that comes after your experience there to say how we are doing. So they are asking more often, how are we doing? We need to, I would encourage everyone to continue to give that feedback in every shape and form that they can, so that they know, like one of the callers said, when you know what you're doing wrong, then you can try to fix it.
Yes.
Or areas that you can improve upon.
Yeah. And I mean, this has proven this morning that this has been, just a valuable forum for people to be able to express themselves. Reynold, he seems upset. He says they better listen. I'm coming with fire in my eyes. Oh my goodness. We have another caller in the line. Good morning, caller. Joining us from overseas, looks like. How are you?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Not bad, dear. How are you?
Good. Thankful.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't do the hospitals very often, but I've had a few incidents that I was at the Georgetown Hospital, and I thought the wait was long. I thought, quite a bit of obstacles were there. But I went to Health City when two of my dear people was there, presently passed. And let me tell you something, Georgetown Hospital is a peach compared to Health City. That was my first time ever going there, was last year. And I have to be in the room with the patient, calling the people, changing because the patient fell on more than one occasion because they're buzzing the buzzer for the help to come in, and they didn't come to her, and she got up on her own trying to go to the bathroom. And I understand it was not only that time, it was other times that I didn't know about. And she fell and had bruises. And how we know that she got those was when we asked her, she said nobody assisted her. But at Georgetown, I must say, even though the week was long, they're very attentive. They come. I've had experience with them, and they keep checking. If you buzz, they come in. And another one was at Health City, and the same thing happened. And I spoke to somebody and said, this is world's first class hospital. And they said the same thing to me. Oh no, they said they thought so, but they preferred to go to HSA now. So everywhere has the issues. And at the end of the day, I have to say that, HSA has been there and the honest little rock that most of us is born on. So what we need to do, we complain and try to build it up, because when we go there and we spend it with our government, and if we don't have and they assist us, I think that, we need to stop criticizing sometimes and put more into what we need to put into and stop complaining. I mean, you complain, but when I say that, help make the system better by saying, because I complained when I was there and I had the issue, I went and I complained. And when I complained, I got help right away. I said no, because sometimes staff is staff. It's not the hospital. Sometimes staff sit down on their phone and they ignore you. They're not watching the time. Sometimes you have to get up and say, are you working? I mean, not in a rude way. Or did you put in my request for me to see a doctor? Because I noticed you here sitting on your phone and I have not been attended to. Because this is a lot of time, these electronic things take away the ability to do what they should. So sometimes we need to let them be reminded that we're here waiting, because it's all over now. This sitting down and they talking and they laughing and they chat. I go up and in a polite way say, hello, I'm here waiting. Did you let them know that you have a patient to see? So sometimes we blaming also the establishment, but also the workers is what is a reflection of the establishment. So we too need to take part and show others what they need to do. They should know, but listen, you know, we all know how that goes. Just my 2 cents, because
thank you very
the
much.
2 hospitals now, yes, I've had, you know, because like I said, I've never been there till last year. I always hear about Health City. And I would choose HSA over Health City. I'm sorry, my experiences. So each day on. Thanks for having me. And
Okay,
have a
thanks
wonderful
very
weekend.
much. All right, my dear.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, I guess everybody has their own experiences. That is for sure. We had another caller calling, but let's just go through Felicia and Minister the points now about the survey. So we're going to be doing this National Health Survey. And what sort of things are included in the National Health Survey?
So there are several things. So first and foremost, there'll be a survey link that'll come out via social media means for people to fill out, which will ask them just 10 questions in regards to, you know, their experience, all the things that they're voicing today, the wait time, the accessibility, all those kind of things will be in those 10 questions. And they'll also still have ability to just ad lib at the end of it. Outside of that, we're going to be having meetings with key stakeholders, with nonprofits, as I mentioned, the faith-based organizations. We're going to do all the government entities, because planning will have an effect on healthcare. Agriculture will have an effect on healthcare. Every youth and sports has every department. We want to hear from everyone. We're also going to be doing our boards and our councils, because we want to see their approach from policies and things that need to be in place to help inform the government. So it'll be several different ways for that whole month, from May the 1st until May 31st. People will have an opportunity to be give their opinion as to what they think the healthcare is like and what it should be like, so that it can inform the government.
Okay. And then how can, or who can participate in the public consultation for this national health strategy?
We want everyone, absolutely everyone, from the child, whether the parents help them out, because what we recognize is this is a 10-year policy. So if your child is 8 years old, in 10 years, they're going to be 18. By then, they would have gotten vaccines to go to school. They would have traveled overseas. But we want to ensure that our standards are across the board and are for the next 10 years. So we want everyone. Also, that 20-year-old might be cheering for their parents that are 40. So everyone needs to be able to have their voice heard, give their opinion, and help us in this process. We literally would like to hear from everyone. I'd love to come back at the end of May and be like, we had an outstanding amount of input into this that can really say, this is what our jurisdiction says that they want. These are the standards we want. As Minister mentioned in one of our earlier interviews, we don't want to take something from another jurisdiction and like pick this and say, this is what we're going to do. We want to do what the people in the Cayman Islands suggest is the best practice and the ways forward in regards to healthcare and wellness.
And how long is the consultation period going to be for?
It's 1 month, from May the 1st to May the 31st. But that being said, we've started these interviews just Monday, and we've gotten feedback already via our email lines or via our WhatsApp lines. I'll get you, Sandra, to maybe put that on your Facebook page so that people can start to even send information from now, because we're going to collaborate, collect everything that comes in from now all the way through to the end of May.
Okay, very good. Minister, anything to add to that?
Sure. Once we get the information, as the CNO alluded to, once we get this information, that is local information. And we have taken this approach, and I am so glad that it has been bought into by my ministry team, that we're going to be data driven, meaning we're going to make sure we go out into the Cayman community, hoping that we will get the support and the cooperation from all persons within the community to participate in gathering of information. So when we compile all of that information, we are coming from a place where it is Cayman, and we can create a document, as we're trying to do with this for the 10 years, that is our Caymanian information that sets the tone and the pace for the next 10 years. A part of this document that is to be delivered is to strategic planning. And that part means transforming priorities into plans. And the operational arm that was absent from the previous national strategic plan was transforming plans into action. So when you look at how important it is for us to get all the information from a local context, this document, upon completion, and we are optimistic with the resources and the assistance that we're getting in, how aggressive we are in making sure we inform and engage our community. And this morning is proof of that we would be able to have that information, and the National Health Strategy would be able to be presented to my cabinet colleagues by the end of Q4 of this year. So definitely this is something that I look forward to bringing over the finish line that will set the pace, the tone for the next 10 years for the Cayman Islands. It's long overdue. The last one we had was developed in 2012. It was only valid through 2017. So here we are in 2024, a 7-year gap that we are going to fill once and for all.
Can I add one more thing as well? So when we're looking at this national strategy, just to lay it out a little bit better, we would like feedback in regards to primary care. So all the things we were here about today would be your primary care. Secondary care would be elective things that may be happening. Mental health would be one of those things. Tertiary care may be your cancer issues or neurosurgery, tissue transplant, those kind of things. Then we also want to hear from the community in regards to the districts and health visits and child safety and all those things, accessibility and affordability of the healthcare system, the quality of care that you're getting from the medications to the staff. We're also looking at the governance, are our services safe? Are our services effective? All of these things help inform this policy, the healthcare workers, the staffing. And someone mentioned earlier, one of your comments, the nursing school and developing more local nurses from the ground up to actually meet the need in our community. All of these things are what we're hoping to gather from our community to help inform this national strategy. And I'd like to also highlight that I think we're back on your show on May the 9th, which is definitely, that's the actual, during the consultation period where we want to hear even more information at that point in time towards these kind of stuff so that it can help inform this national strategy, as Minister mentioned.
Okay, we do have 2 callers on the line. Let's go to those. Good morning, callers. Let's see who's up first. 0270, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call.
Morning, dear.
I have 2 points that I think that will fit right into what the minister and her cabinet is looking after. Over the past few years, I've had extensive experiences in the Georgetown Hospital with my elderly father. He is one of the old Caymanian seafarers that is still around, thank the Lord, but he is going through significant medical issues. Okay. So with that backdrop, my experience has been spending 12 hours, 13 hours, maybe 4 hours in the emergency room, waiting to get a bed, that type of thing. What I have seen, because I've stood there and watched, is the wait time is crazy. The doctors are doing the best they can, but it's too long to wait for someone to get just a Tylenol. The nurses don't have any autonomy. The nurses don't have any type of authority to take a look at somebody with a broken arm and say, oh, you need to get x-ray, you need to get a Tylenol. No, that person has to wait for a doctor to become available, and then the doctor tells the nurse what to do. Okay? So that operational system seriously needs to look at. You hire nurses, they're supposed to be have the degree, RNs, LPNs, PAs, whatever the case you're doing. Some ability to triage, take the blood, take the urine, whatever the case may be, so that when the doctor comes, he has or she has a record. Okay, this is my baseline. Now what's the problem? Otherwise, you're waiting. Trust me, this is how it works. I was just in the hospital the other day with myself, actually, and I waited 2 hours to see the doctor, or for that person to tell the nurse to take her urine, take her blood. Makes no sense. It just makes no sense. Okay. Now, secondly, what I think as far as strategically, I will be retiring in however many years. I'm not going to give away my age, but my insurance will be Cineco more than likely, because I won't be able to afford anything else. Therefore, I will then be required to attend HSA. I will be required to get referrals or whatever the case may be because I can't use my own doctor through Cineco. Therefore, applying more pressure upon HSA and upon the system for all of the Caymanian retirees. So, there's a whole retiring however many years, and all of us are going to have to use HSA.
Thank you, caller. I mean, we can actually ask a question about that because I think, the previous administration, there might have been some changes. I know this doesn't fall under this minister, but I'm not sure if Minister Turner might have any updates because I believe, Minister, that you guys were going to open up Cynical to non-government workers, which meant that you would also be opening up where they can go. Is that still on the table, or?
That is still up for discussion, in all honesty. Cabinet had approved for that option of choice, even with civil service. Once you're on Cynical, that you would be able to have a choice. That was an exercise so that we could see whether or not we have to get the background information. Now, you will notice that Cynical, which is a statutory authority again, has opened up now property and motor. But the health side of things, we have had to request additional information before we roll that out. Will there be cost implications on civil servants? And if you have persons who are already indigent and we are already taking care of, there are a lot of things behind the scenes that has to go on. And it is still something that is active. Now, we also see where the current makeup of how it works with persons on Cynical, that you have to be referred from a doctor at HSA. It is because of that very same reason that government pays for that. But if we're seeing where the demand of healthcare services is so much that Health Services Authority cannot keep up, then we have, from a national level, have to look at that totally different. If are there specific services that we no longer have to go through HSA to get the referral, but we automatically know that there's a pool, a network of persons, for example, hearing aids, or let's say anything to deal with the eyes. If we know that those services are not available at HSA, that is something that we may look at, that you don't even have to go to HSA, but you use these pool of professionals. This is a work in process, and this is why it is important for us to get this national health strategy off the table, because this will all play a part in that priority setting and understanding what the health policies will be, the strategies, plans, and even the costing implications on national health care for the Cayman Islands.
Yes. All right. We do have another caller in the line. Good morning, caller.
Yeah. Hi. Morning, Sandra. Just morning to the minister and to the new appointed chief
nursing officer.
Chief nursing officer. Congratulations. Two quick questions. It was wonderful that the previous caller touched on to lay the foundation of actually my first question. Seeing that the government for the past 15, 20 years has been trying to push for the Cayman Islands population to advance to 100,000 people, and hearing, and there's many testimonies, no doubt, of persons like the previous caller. I myself have had to take my family there, and I've experienced such a long wait time, and it's just simply sitting there. And I think that very process in itself, as well as not being able to find a parking space to get into the hospital, raises one's blood pressure. So by the time you get in to see the doctor, you already got high blood pressure. Now you're diagnosed with hypertension. Here's the medication for that. And in fact, you really don't even need it. Yeah. But my first question is this: what steps, if any, has the government been considering in acquiring more land to expand the hospital, the infrastructure? Clearly, as we grow in population, we are already seeing the struggle right now. Not that we may need it right now. I think we're not far from it. But if the minister can discuss, we just, I think, approved $50 million for a high school that was, as a priority. There's discussions whether that's valid or not. I'm not going to discuss that. But what discussions, what preparatory planning, if any, has been considered to advance our infrastructure for the hospital. My second question, I don't think it's wise for us to extend the review process of this paper that's being done from 5 to 10 years, given principally because the advancement of artificial intelligence. And I've read a statement from the minister report she had shared about the advancement of AI technology coming into medicine, and this is good. But because of that very same thing, the environment is changing rapidly, and we have got to make legislation to go with it. And if you say you're going to push this review paper from 5 to 10 years, is that wise? I leave that there, Sandra, just to get the minister's response. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I think it's a very good question. So really the caller's saying that the technology is growing so quickly that does a longer strategic policy plan really make sense, because in 2 years, we don't even know where we're going to be with AI and other types of technology. So will there be revision of this policy throughout that 10-year period?
Well, revision amendments. We have to pivot with time. That's just life. But it's better to have a document than to have nothing at all. And we have seen how complex the whole healthcare industry is becoming. And right now, dealing with a document that was done, like I said, 2012 to 2017, with the councils and having a government and having all stakeholders engaged in where we're going, we feel that even with AI and how things are changing almost daily, that simple policy, cabinet support, and changes in legislation will not hinder this from going through. So I'm not at all scared that this document, it's nothing in stone. This is just this is a very important document from the national level, but we're still able to pivot as necessary, should that be the case.
And I'd also like to add that while you look at it from a national level in the sense of the standards of care, so, wait time should be a minimum of X. Let's just say we make that a standard. Even if AI comes into play and things, hopefully that would just improve it. So things will go down and get better. It's not going to hinder it from being the standard of what the minimum should be.
Correct.
To good health care is kind of where we're going. This document's going to guide with that kind of stuff. And then, like anything, as the minister said, things will change as they go along. So obviously, if there's an area in there that's no longer applicable, it can be addressed, but at least there's a working document for every other area in healthcare.
Correct. A simple policy decision, not to dilute the whole importance of the document with all the work that we're going to put into it. But there's nothing that is in stone. We have to adapt. We have to be able to pivot as quickly as possible. But we want to know when we are going to make that change, that we're coming from an informed standpoint as well. That's just being responsible.
Okay. Very good. So, folks, this has been a very, very interesting segment this morning. Thank you to all of our callers. So, again, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is looking at the National Health Strategic Policy. The consultation period is opening up here officially on the 1st. And you will have an opportunity to hear back from them on the 9th of May. And we're going to do a little bit something different at that time, where we're actually going to be having you all participate basically in the consultation. So get ready, mark it down in your calendar from now, students. You got to be good students and put it in your little calendar book. So on the 9th of May, they'll be back on the program, and we're going to have basically a live on-air consultation. So get ready for that.
Would you allow me 1 minute to just publicly congratulate Ms. Rambaran for being the 2023 Deputy Governor's Award recipient last night? I was so proud of that young lady. Oh my gosh. And all of those civil servants who were recognized last night. And also kudos to the STEP team, who were also given an award and were recognized for bringing the STEP survey over the finish line. Kudos to Ms. Rachel Corbett, who took that on 100%, Ms. Tennille, Ms. Hallie, Ms. Janet, Carolina, our CMO, and the chief officer as well. They did a lot in a short time. It took a lot of planning, And in order to execute it, to help us, know the state of health in our country is one thing, but to be recognized at an award as significant as that by the Deputy Governor of the Cayman Islands, I am honored, I am thrilled, I'm so proud of them. And also to the 21 firefighters that graduated yesterday. One female was in that cohort of firefighters. That was exceptionally special for me as well yesterday, because there are so much young men in there that I know their parents were proud. They saw that ability in them of living and seeing their dream become a reality, and being their Minister of Home Affairs. That was touching. We have filled a resource gap for years that is being filled, that these fire officers graduating yesterday, reaching this milestone, was able to be able to elevate other fire officers that has been in key positions for years. So congratulations to everyone. But again, to Miss Rambarand, I'm so proud of her. And I know her mom. We went to school. I even know her dad. I was shocked last night. She's a winner. She's a star. But congratulations overall to all of those winners last night.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll hopefully be in a position to share the award ceremony here live in our program early next week. But thank you so much. So we really
Thank you.
appreciate it. And thank you to Ms. Felicia McLean, again, the country's new Chief Nursing Officer. Congratulations again. As you can see, I'm sure you know already, you've hit the ground running, and there's a lot to be done. So thank you so much for the ministry, for the minister and their team for always coming in the program and really just keeping us updated on a lot of really important things surrounding public health. The country's, listen, without health, and quite literally, it doesn't matter what else you have going on. So we have to, as a country, really make these things a priority. And it's good to see that the ministry is taking on this strategic policy consultation with a view to coming up with this, this policy, because I think we need it for sure.
Yes.
So we'll find out more. How do people participate? Shall we just let them know if they're interested, even before you come back on the 9th, if they want to get started early, how can they participate?
So if the easiest thing would be to email healthandwellness@gov.ky. They can also call in 244-2377. They can also email mohfeedback@gov.ky. And those are all ways they can just start to send in their comments. We're also going to use the recording from this show and take down the notes that people have said. That'll all be added to the stuff. And then look out for that survey on May the 1st. That'll make it easy because it's 10 questions directed to certain things that will really help inform the document.
Wonderful. All right, folks. So there you go. That's all the information on how to participate. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Have a fabulous weekend, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, folks, good stuff. We'll read some more of your comments. Just a reminder, the Emancipation Day is coming up, so this is pretty exciting news. Let's have a break, and we'll be right back after these messages.
We're losing our culture, and we need to go back to the old days.
We don't stand tall anymore. We don't know who we are. We are already a minority, a numerical minority in Cayman.
We're too easily outnumbered. We didn't have large families. And so that's why we're at a disadvantage now. We don't have a national identity, and we're struggling to develop a national identity.
And that's why it is important for Caymanians to know where they're coming from.
When I ask Caymanian children, they don't know 1/10 of the things that I know about my heritage.
If we don't address where we're coming from, we're going to think that we're somebody else. And we're going to allow other people to come here and, as the Rastafarians would say, down-press our culture.
Do you own a 1996 to 2016 Honda vehicle? There is an ongoing urgent safety recall regarding faulty Takata airbag inflators in Honda vehicles in the Cayman Islands. As affected vehicles get older, a combination of high temperatures and humidity can affect airbag inflators with the fault. If you're involved in a collision, the airbag can go off with too much explosive force, causing sharp metal fragments to shoot out and kill or seriously injure people in the vehicle. To check whether your vehicle is affected, go to HondaCayman.com/recalls. Honda will replace any defective airbag inflators completely free of charge. Contact the Car City service team to arrange this. Please take the time to check if your vehicle is affected by this urgent safety recall by going to HondaCayman.com/recalls now.
If you think that scratching is cool, wait till you scratch and win with Burger King. Our Scratch and Win is back with $40,000 in cash and prizes just for eating at Burger King. Spend $6 or more at any BK and receive your scratch card. There are more cash prizes than ever, including instant win prizes of $25 and $50, thousands of food prizes, and even e-scooters and karaoke machines to be won. Scratch and win big with Burger King today. Terms and conditions apply. Full details on burgerking.ky.
All right, folks. Good morning, and welcome back. Wow, what a segment. I don't know who this is that's calling me, but do we not know that I'm on air? Morning, we're on the radio. Are you trying to call the talk show?
Sorry.
Okay. All right, folks. Honey chill, please remember, from 7:30 to 9:30, we're working on the radio. Okie dokie. So lots of comments coming in. There is one that I want to address. Good morning, Ms. Darlene Manzanares. Stephanie said she was front and center. I mean, listen, there's a lot of constructive criticism there. At the end of the day, right, you've got to be open to, as a government agency, obviously, you've got to be willing to take feedback from people. And I think the fact that people were so keen to share that feedback this morning, having seen the minister on the show, says a lot. It speaks volumes, right? So let me address a few things. I saw Johan making a number of comments here this morning. If I can find them again, let me see if we can specifically address some of those. So, and one of them, he said something like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe the minister's here. She's going to get fired by the premier." Listen, I think the minister and her team have recognized that they have to focus and be about the people's business. And if they want to actually get results and they want to reach the most number of people, then, this is really where it's at. So we've got, at one point, over 400 people were on the live stream paying attention and listening to the show. What can I say? I think the team appreciates where they need to go to get the information out there. I've heard about the dynamics, but I'm thinking the ministry, which are civil servants, don't really care what's going on politically. They need to stay focused. And this is why, thank God, sometimes there's supposed to be this, separation, if you will. So, they've got to stay focused on their remit and what it is that they need to do. And right now they're focused on this, this strategic policy consultation, which is very, very important for the way forward for healthcare, generally speaking, for this entire country. So I think it's an important initiative. I hope that as many of you as possible will participate. If you were calling in, giving feedback, it doesn't matter. We had one person, she was riding with HSA. A lot of you are not. You're like, there's lots of room for improvement. Whatever the situation is, by all means, please participate. I agree with that caller who said it's easy to be critical, but if you don't even participate when they're asking for feedback, then what's the point of being critical? And I also like the fact that Felicia said they will take on board a lot of the comments that were provided here today during the program. So big shout out to Barry, trying to keep it positive, saying let's share both the good and the bad experiences, because sometimes we do kind of hyper focus on the bad. But the most interesting thing about it is when it comes to customer service, a lot of you may know this, some of you may not, but once you've had a single poor customer service experience, do you know it takes 20 good experiences for you to get over that one bad experience? And that really just speaks to who we are as human beings and how our minds operate. And, it is what it is. When you're an organization, I think it's important for you to recognize that and to try to, maybe there's not a way to completely eliminate all bad experiences, but to most definitely try to negate the situation where you have as few bad experiences as possible. because it's going to take so many positive experiences for people to get over that one, because bad experiences have a way of being imprinted on your brain in a very, very different kind of way. And, you know, that's how the brain operates, so that you don't have to go through that bad experience again. It's almost like your brain hyper focuses bad experiences, if you will. So like, okay, avoid that again. It's like the one time you put your finger on a hot burner, right? Or, you know, you have an accident in the kitchen. Listen, you're going to be super cautious to make sure that really and truly that never happens again. That's how your brain and your body protects itself, right? You know, those bad experiences, you learn pretty quickly to put yourself in a position where hopefully that doesn't become the norm. You know, having said that, I think organizations like the HSA obviously have to take these things on board. One of the things that Johan said, and I want to address this, he says, Auntie Sandy needs to protect your client at HSA CMR money. HSA isn't actually my client. So I do want to set the record straight, Johan. So when you put things out there, Johan has a very different sense of humor that a lot of you may not appreciate. And I know some of you have reached out to me in the past about his comments and his sense of humor. Well, some of you don't even find it funny, but I'm just saying. So, you know, he does say certain things that come across as a little bit of, they appear to be passive aggressive comments, right? I don't really take them on board because, I mean, whatever, I don't really care. But I do know that a lot of you do, the fact that you reach out to me and the things that you say. So I want to clarify, you know, take what Johan says with a grain of salt, because he doesn't always know what he's talking about, okay? So in this instance, he's completely wrong, but there are people, you know, he puts a little laughing emoji. Y'all might actually think that this is correct. Now, the beautiful thing about it is when you stand from a position of just speaking the truth, you don't even have to remember what you said last week or the week before or anything like that. Your messaging is always consistent. So you guys will know from the onset, you know, I had my daughter and she was a preemie. I have always said that the NICU unit, that's really the only, I mean, I've had one surgery at the HSA, but the NICU, that was like my longest experience, I would say, as a sort of HSA client, if you will. The experience was phenomenal. And I have said this from day one. You guys will know if you've ever listened to me, even outside of this talk show. You know, she was in the NICU, in the neonatal intensive care unit for a month. And that's not an easy thing when you have a newborn baby. And there was a lot of back and forth to the hospital 4 or 5 times a day. It was a very, very stressful period for a family. And I was so grateful for the staff there. I mean, they were just phenomenal. My midwife has since left the HSA. I was so sad to hear that she left and went into private, you know, working with a private practice, but she was just amazing. And to this day, I still keep in touch with her. Occasionally, you know, she'll message me on WhatsApp to kind of check in. How's Gigi doing? All of the NICU staff worked around the clock, taking care of babies. Some of them went on to have special needs. Some of them were just like Gianna, just preemie and needed to put on weight. And they were just absolutely phenomenal. And you really, when you have to go through a situation like that, you really get a certain camaraderie with the staff at the in the maternity ward. And even the lady, I don't even know her name, but the Caymanian lady who showed you how to handle the baby, giving the baby, you know, its bath and all these things. They were just so amazing and so gentle. And I remember, you guys might remember me telling you this story before, they thought that I was a little bit too calm for the situation. And they actually alerted both my primary physician, my OBGYN, and the specialist, Dr. Watkins, and she's a neonatologist. They actually alerted them, like, we're not sure how she's processing this, because this baby, obviously, you know, she's got to go home. She's got to do feedings around the clock and all this kind of stuff. We're not sure, but we want you to speak with her to see if she needs any additional support, because maybe this is her norm of responding to a stressful situation, or maybe she's actually shutting down and doesn't even realize it. We need you to just let her know that there are support services available if you're suffering from any postpartum related depression or issues or whatever, because taking care of a preemie baby can be an extremely stressful situation once you have to take that baby home. I was fine, but I was so appreciative of the fact that they thought of it. They reached out. They weren't sure if that was like the normal behavior or not. And they alerted the people who needed to know in the event that something was wrong. So I take my hats off to them. Whether they're a client or not, I think that in my estimation, that has got to be the best unit at the HSA. It's certainly the best that I have experienced. And so, I don't want to take away, this to me isn't a funny joke about, oh, I'm protecting my client. They have amazing staff there. And even sometimes now I see that some of the NICU staff have retired or they've moved on or whatever. And, I always see them. They always ask for Gigi. At her 1-year birthday, I went in there and I took them a cake. I donated all of her preemie clothing as she started to grow out of that, because I knew that they would need clothing there in the NICU. Because, the babies are so small, and especially in this island, it is very, very difficult to do things like even find preemie clothing that can fit them. Like it's, and a lot of parents might find themselves in a situation where they have a preemie baby and they don't have the ability to get all of these little extra things that you're going to need. So I stand by that 1,000%. That is the best, in my opinion, area of the HSA. And so this has nothing to do with someone being a client or not. They're really not. So, I don't really know. Johan, sometimes your comments are not funny, just for the record. Stephanie says, I can relate, Sandra. My oldest son was in the NICU for 62 days. Oh my God. It's crazy. It is, unless you've experienced it even a little bit, like we did 30 days, Stephanie, I can't imagine 62 days. It is a very, very unbelievable and stressful situation. So pretty wild. Yeah. And my hat's off to all the parents of babies, preemie babies, babies with special needs, children with special needs, because nobody understands it until you have actually gone through it, for sure. So the other thing is, listen, the minister came on the program. Obviously, the minister, I don't want to speak to the dynamics of what's happening politically. Hold on one second. Yes, Johan.
I understand that you're trying to bad me up on this Friday morning.
I'm not trying to bad you up. If that's how you want to interpret it, then that's on you. I'm just simply setting the record straight.
And I was calling in to say,
yes, sir.
Yes, my sense of humor is warped. You understand my sense of humor.
I get it, but a lot of people don't. Yes.
No, but here's the thing about the CMR crew. Mm-hmm. You have so many people that call into you, or not call into you, reach out to you on a sidebar and complain about everything under the sun and everything everybody else says. Mm-hmm. And some of these same people hate your existence.
That's fine.
Period. Point blank.
But that's okay.
And which is fine. All I'm saying is, all I'm trying to say is, yes, it's your show, it's your platform. You are deservedly the #1 media outlet in the Cayman Islands because you allow for the views of all kinds, and you challenge the status quo, and you basically tackle the issues that nobody else wants to tackle. But all of them people that think you are my mama, or you effectively, I don't have a sense of humor.
Definitely not your mama.
No, definitely not mama. You are my brownie maker. Definitely. And you are my Roque customer service representative. And I want to complain about you on CMR in that space.
Oh my God.
No, I'm just calling in to say, yes.
Can you go sit in the lobby
between us? No, the banter between us is real. If I offended you, I'm sorry. But at the same time, here's what the greater point of that
it's not about really offending me. It's just making sure that people who are paying attention, reading it, are not taking that as a serious comment.
Sandra, some people that follow the platform don't have no goddamn sense. Period. Point blank. Okay? And I'm not worried about people that don't have sense. You don't need to like me. You don't need to like Sandra. I don't know half of the people that comment about me or anything like that. I wish them the very best of luck. But if your life consists of complaining about Johan Moxham, you need a life. You really do. Because I'm going to give you the best example. We had the Minister of Health who did an exemplary job of explaining what the process looks like. Our people, our citizens, our residents, we think that because you're a minister, you have oversight over everything. At best, they're responsible for getting financing and securing a budget for the statutory authorities, the government-owned companies, and so on and so forth. But the minute any minister tries to opine or enforce a position, there will be complaints that are based on political interference coming from the same management or civil service of these things. So complaining to the minister about the issues that may exist or may be bad or may be good at the HSA or any statutory authority is fine, but the reality is it is the responsibility of management and the board to address those issues. So you cannot hold Minister Sabrina Turner accountable for the failings at the HSA, because outside of securing money and appointing a board of directors, she has no direct operational oversight on the issue. At best, that is your chief officer for the ministry, and that would be the board of directors and the management. So anything that's going wrong at the HSA or anything that's going good and you won't feel like complimenting them or any statutory authority, you got to go to the relevant a grouping or persons that are responsible. But in Cayman, we don't understand how the system works. So we fly off, and then you'll have comments like, well, Sabrina not doing nothing as Minister of Health. She's securing them the money that they need to operate, but the operational issues and the way that they go about it doing their jobs at the HSA or any other statutory authority is not the responsibility of the minister. And we need, and I'm just trying to, taking off my joking hat, help the people understand when you complain about something and you complain to somebody, understand the way the system works, who you're complaining to, and what they can do about it. If you really, really and truly want to complain about the HSA, you do the survey, you send emails, you call the chief officer for the Ministry of Health, you speak to the board of directors, the chairman of the board, whoever that is now, or more importantly, call into the deputy governor and say, hey, we're spending a lot of money with this thing here. We don't have basic pillows. We're spending a lot of money with this, and somebody's in the hallway dying or feeling really bad, and nobody could be bothered with that. So that's the only sort of thing that I was really calling in about, and to say, I'm glad that you and I have the friendship that we have. I'm glad that you can take it on the chin, because you're one of the strongest people I know. Like the other day when you were crying, I was completely shocked, because whatever that was, that hurt you to the core, but you got like a turtleback shell, and you're one of the strongest women I ever seen, because you're fearless, and I respect that more than anything else. But I just thought I'd call in and share that and say, if I did offend you, I am sorry, and I'll try not to make fun of you and your perceived clients again on air.
Oh, Lord. Thank you, Johan. Thank you. I appreciate the call.
Have a good day.
All right,
Bye-bye.
my dear. Nope, I'm not offended. I just want to set the record straight, because I know that some people, Johan told me I must donate brownies. I know that some people don't understand a lot of times where Johan is coming from. So it is what it is. A faded Mary Jane says she's a Leo, honey chair. Yes, indeed. So listen now. So I'm going to read a few other comments, because Johan was heavy in the comment section. You can tell when he not got no meetings in the morning, you know. Somebody please schedule a meeting, a board meeting or something with Johan. So he says, CMR gets more results than any survey plus official complaints process in the history of the Cayman Islands. #facts. He was saying that he was a bit surprised that the minister was on. This is actually the second time now that the minister's been part of the UD. What do they call themselves again? UDP? UDM? I can't remember. Whatever they are these days. So I don't, obviously, like I said, I think the ministerial staff are aware of how to reach you, the people, and they're letting all that other political banter just stay in the background. But it is real. And so I don't want to, here's a comment. Well done to the Minister of Health Services, Turner, to attend CMR and share important info despite a self-imposed embargo of CMR directed by the elected leadership. And this is unfortunate. I've told you guys about this before. Obviously, Ms. Julie has put this in place. She's pressuring not just her ministers, but civil servants, which I think is more than a conflict of interest for her to do that. And probably the ombudsman's office or somebody should look into that, because that can't be right. But she is trying to navigate and control where people go in terms of media and that sort of thing. But we're gonna just leave her alone and pray for her, honey child. Yes, that prayer and the Bible has to be able to work wonders. So we'll just leave her over there. You can't be an elected official and not be able to take criticism. I mean, it is what it is, right? So of course, thank you very much to the minister for coming on the program. And I know that you guys will be participating fully in the consultation period for this new strategic policy initiative that they have taken on board. So read a few more comments. Ms. Pat, thank you so much. Ms. Pat says, great to see 2 of our Caymanian women in leadership truly working for the Cayman Islands. Take a bow, ladies. Minister, please continue to come to CMR, the voice of the people. We appreciate being able to interact and hear from our representatives. Thank you. And thank you, Miss Pat, for that comment. And again, I appreciate the minister, and I know that politically she is probably having to deal with some sort of, I don't know, backlash or whatever. But can I assure you that there are other ministers who also want to come on the program? They just got to find the kahunas that she has to do so. So I don't know where you're going to find it from, honey child, but, help yourself and find it. Nobody can argue with numbers. I find it, I chuckle when people say to me, oh, Sandy, you think you're number one? And I'm like, I don't think anything. I believe in data-driven decisions. Remember, double D, triple D? Not double D, triple D. Data-driven decisions. Anybody with a little bit of, common sense can look at numbers and tell you exactly what go on. Okay? Doesn't take a genius. So in real time, if I say to you, look here, hold on 1 second now, honey child. Let me just pull up my screen a little bit. So if I say to you in real time right now, this is what Radio Cayman has going on. 18 people are listening to their show. Okay. 18 people. And in real time, we have 300, and it just went up to 381. But this image here that I'm showing you guys had 378. It peaked over 400 this morning. Plus, I'm not even counting the people on Instagram and obviously people listening live in the radio. So, it is what it is. There's no, don't get up in your feelings about this kind of stuff. This is just data-driven decisions. Okay. So how many people did she want to reach? Over 400 people in just social media alone this morning, and then thousands later will go back and watch it? Or did she want to have 18 people listening to her on YouTube? I'm just saying. Thank you, Minister. And go to them too, because those 18 people, they may come back and listen to CMR later on. I don't really know. Or they may never listen to CMR. That might be, Julie and her family, number 17 and 15 and 16 and whatever. So that's entirely possible. But at the end of the day, reach out to everybody. So I'm not saying don't go elsewhere. I'm just saying that they know when they want to reach the most people, it is what it is. Lavana had a comment earlier. She said that the doctors and nurses are shouting across the emergency room to each other. Like the caller said, you have to take a pillow and blanket most times. So I'm sure the HSA is paying attention this morning, and they're going to be taking some of this on board. Debbie had made mention about, they're hiring the wrong type of nationalities. Faded Mayor Jean says, check the nationalities of these people that are the caregivers, where they come from and how they treat their patients. It has always been that way. And to be very clear, I've had some amazing, nurses from all over the globe tend to me. And it really comes down to whether or not someone should even be a nurse or not. Deandra says, good morning. Having a national health strategy is one thing, but making sure we have competent doctors working at the HSA is a whole other thing, because all we have now is doctors that don't do their jobs. Oh my gosh. Medical ward says at Reynolds is the worst. Darlene McKenzie says listening and doing something about it are two very different things. Debbie says, Minister, kudos to you for coming on the #1 talk show. Congrats, Felicia. You deserve everything you receive. I'm so glad to see actually Felicia in that position. Risa says the significant wait time at the HSA emergency room and urgent care facilities is why I go to private urgent care facilities, less stressful with sick children. And I can tell you, not just sick children, but even sick adults. When you're sick, honey child, you ain't got no time to be waiting. And, I appreciate the caller calling in saying, oh, other than significant wait times, she didn't think the HSA had any issues, that they were far better. She compared it to her experience at Health City. But I can tell you that when you're sick, the last thing you want to be doing is waiting to see a doctor and to get some help and to get back in bed. I remember my poor husband when he actually turned out, I think he actually had COVID, and he suspected that he might have had COVID, and he went to the HSA and he waited for like over 4 hours. And there was like one person in the emergency room, like he couldn't understand it. I remember it was a Saturday and he said, I've had enough, I'm leaving. And he just upped and left. And I was like, go back, you need to get tested. And so in that moment, I had to call Miss Lizette, and she's like, please have him go back. I'll have somebody see him right now. I shouldn't have to be calling her. She should not have to, when there's only one person in the emergency room, why is there 4 or 5 hour wait time? Like that don't even make no sense. And I get it. Like on the back end, we don't know how many patients they have in the beds. We don't know what's coming through the other, emergency doors. Maybe they just had a situation, so there's nobody in the wait room, but that doesn't mean they're not busy on the other side, but they got to be reasonable. I mean, a 5 hour wait time when you friggin' got COVID, and he turned out to actually, that's what it was. He did have COVID. He needed to get tested. It was just like, nah, man, this is crazy. So without fear of contradiction, there's definitely room for improvement. And the wait time, like I said, really makes a difference. Because he was like, I'm not waiting here no more. I was like, stay, go back. I'm going to make a phone call. What a hot mess. So Johan says, after this part of the show, the next HSA show with HSA management is going to be pure hell. Pure fire? That's a fire emoji. Well, they have their own show, but I don't think they take phone calls or anything like that, because they have a segment on Bobo, but that's not a live segment. That's pre-recorded. All right. El Rey says that went in. We'll get more results than filling out the survey. El Rey is so funny. Deanna says some of the Jamaican doctors at HSA ER are the worst. Ras them. Only God knows, man. No, sir. What the heck? Oh my goodness, y'all are too much. Rough Seas. I don't know what's going on with you this morning. I saw you complaining about something. You could hear us or something, or you can't hear us, but you can comment. I don't really know what that's about. You seem to be the only person having an issue though, which is a little bit weird. So I saw that you were asking if we had done something to you. Honey, Chad, we don't have that kind of power. Did you do something to my connections? How would we possibly do something to your connections? I'm not Flow or Digicel or whoever the heck you're using on your devices, so I don't know anything about that. So I can't tell you why it's not working. I think for other people it seems to be working. Maybe restart. I don't know how you're watching, but maybe restart whatever it is that you're on. So if you're on your phone, shut it down completely and restart the whole thing, but it ain't got nothing to do with us. I'm not that powerful, I can assure you. Johan has his mind on brownies this morning. Cameron, Evelyn says, Cameron, I know, right? Begging in a decent way. You can tell that he hasn't gotten them brownies in a while, trying to sweet up Sandy for a new batch, right? I made some last week, Friday, because we had a little movie night with the kids, a little play date. And so they got some brownies. One of the little girls was like, this is the best ever. I'm like, oh, I love when kids eat something that they really like. And they're like, oh my God, this is the best. His sense of humor is showing on the show anyway, says Gareth. Yes, honey child, I can relate. Thank you. Denver says, I understand a major problem with HSA is one of her own who needs to retire. I don't know who that could be. All right, let's move on. How much chocolate does the brownies have? Just curious. I mean, I don't know. Who's measuring? So one has like the chocolate chips, and then one I do with nuts. They're kind of different. But I mean, it's a brownie. Is it not supposed to be chocolatey? You know, you can't be having a brownie if you're on a diet, honey child. That's not gonna work. Oh yes, thank you, Gabby. But the Capella giveaway, we'll do that in just a few minutes. Very, very good. Irvin gives a big shout out to doctors. I just recently discovered that with my grandbaby when my grandbaby had an ear infection. Okay. Miss Lucille says, I want no one to say nothing about my Minister of Health. She's a Caymanian and she's going to stay where she is. She's doing a very good job. I soon come home. You all again, bless you, my rose pink liver. Is that what you meant to say? All right. Very good. Let me see here, honey chill. Oh, shoot. Sorry. All right. Everton. Good morning to you, sir. Says, sometimes I'm sick of hearing people complaining. If you guys think the nurses are not doing a good job and those who are going to nursing school learn to become a nurse, learn to become a doctor, learn to become an electrician, learn to become a plumber, learn to become a mechanic. Why complain about what other people are doing? Learn to become some sort of professional and probably not trying to be negative. A lot of people who are complaining, they're not even professionals. I don't know. I think you have to take it in stride, Everton, especially when it comes to public facilities, like government-owned entities and facilities. We do have an expectation of them to do certain things. They're providing services to the public, and your public purse is paying for that in some way, shape, or form. So, you know, again, this is one of those things where, you know, take constructive criticism on board for what it is, honey chill. All right. Rough Seas, I still can't get video or audio. So how do you know what I'm saying? How are you listening? I have no clue. Try YouTube. Maybe that's the way to go. I'm not really sure. Okay, I just need to find out who is going to get my situation sorted with the mental health department, because I'm tired of this foolishness. 3 weeks now, and all now I can't get my situation sorted, and I'm getting frustrated. Oh my gosh. Siobhan, can we ask someone at the HSA to reach out to you? Would you be okay with that? We can certainly message them on your behalf and just have them call you, because I don't know what the situation is, but. Gabby says, the last time I went to the emergency with my baby, I waited 2 hours to see the doctor for 15 minutes. Yeah, I mean, especially with children, it can be very, very frustrating. You know, when you got a sick baby, trust me, it's crazy. All right, morning, Miss Aline. Rough Seas claims he's back now. Don't know what happened. Well, like I said, it ain't got nothing to do with us. Just restart the phone sometimes. You got to restart. Stephanie says, Everton, are we supposed to be completely self-sufficient? That's crazy. That's crazy. You can't be a doctor, a nurse, an electrician, and everything in between. There are expectations of delivery of service. And like I said, keep your expectation high. Positive 100 says, who feels it knows it. That's for real. That's definite. I am a product op being positioned from a Jamaican doctor. I'm not sure what I'm a product. I'm not sure. Positive, maybe retype that, because I'm not sure what that's supposed to be saying. I'm not quite getting that one. Okay, so let's talk about a few things. Businesses, you guys need to be on high alert. There's been a number of people who are going around burglaring places again. I feel like these things come in waves. I don't know what is happening, whether Bobo just got out of jail again or what, but one we posted yesterday, the police quickly identified and found that individual. There was one in West Bay that they found breaking into people's homes. There's one in Bodden Town. I'm going to share the video footage of that now. And we also had one in South Sound at a local restaurant. And after our post, he was quickly identified as well. So now the culprits, at least in that instance, have been identified. So let me just pull this one up for you guys. Hold on one second. If you know who these individuals are, I mean, by all means, please come forward. So this one broke into a business. His name is Dylan Robinson, on a bicycle with his dog, acting as a lookout, while his unknown masked friend broke a window and entered and vandalized, clearly in search of cash. Please warn the community. And these appear to be the same two that did the construction site not long ago in North Side. Okay. I don't know why. Oh my gosh. I mean, I guess they can't hold them all in jail, but the second they come out, folks, they are back on the streets doing the exact same foolishness. There's these fellas just don't even care. So let me try to show you who they are. So you've got one guy in the bicycle acting as a lookout, and then the other one going in all masked up to rob the place. So here's the lookout guy. He took the very dog with him? What the hell? He took the dog to the scene of the crime. Wow. Hello, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. How are you?
Good morning, honey. How you doing?
Hanging in. I enjoyed that first segment.
Yes, sir.
I want to find out. I am still a good friend of Mr. Gilbert McLean and Dr. Mark Field. And I know Mr. Gilbert McLean initiated this cynical. And when he did it, because like I said, I'm very close with him, he said this was specifically for the Caymanian people. Now I know many Caymanians, their parents is Caymanian, grandparents is Caymanian, and they're born Caymanians, and they cannot get any insurance. I wonder if it's in a way that it could be made mandatory that every Caymanian can have cynical, because I know so many foreigners that can afford it. Should meet this in my personal feelings. There should not be no foreigner come to the Cayman Islands and use our local insurance company. That's just me. I could be wrong. I don't have no education. We're school half a day and I was closed by misleaders. But I feel that every Caymanian should have cynical. There is a lot of Caymanian people that are sick. They cannot go to the hospital because the first thing, they don't have no cynical. That's not right. I mean, it is a Caymanian insurance company, and this is the Cayman Islands, done for the Caymanian people, and they can't get no insurance. And I don't know, I'm trying to find out, maybe you could big it up somewhere, because I don't know how you get it, but you get it. You might be got a crowbar or something. You might be got a crowbar or pickaxe.
Lord.
And
yeah. So what I can say about that, right? If a person can't afford cynical, and if that is the issue, then they have to go through. So there's a process. They have to go through NAU, right, to be able to get cynical coverage. So I have known even sometimes, you know, working mothers, but they're not making enough to be able to afford insurance. They can apply to NAU and they can get even like maybe 3 months, 6 months of coverage. And so that happens, and that is available to all Caymanians, because obviously the needs assessment unit is for Caymanians and their families, right? So I think that that's already in place. It would just be a matter of people obviously going through the process of applying, because It's need-based. So you can't just get Cineco if you can afford to have something else, or if you have an employer who offers, other insurance options to you.
Yeah, I know. I really has to go through NAU, but then that they're limited amount, say 3 months or 6 months. That person might need it then.
Mm-hmm.
They might not have to use it then, and then that expires. Then you gotta start the ball game all over again. But I was just thinking that government could put in place every Caymanian needs to be covered with insurance. After all, this is Cayman and this is our people. So
Well, I mean, it does say that every working person. Yeah.
A lot of Caymanians are not working, and they cannot go to the doctor because they don't have no insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sad.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I just wondered if government couldn't put something in place. And I mean, just make it mandatory. Thank you.
Thank you so much, honey. Ref C says free Cineco for all Caymanians without NAU would be better. Nothing is free. So I do want to remind the people of the Cayman Islands that everything comes at a cost. So there is no such thing as free anything. There's no free Cineco. There's no free NAU. We, the people of the Cayman Islands, obviously pay for those things in one way, shape, or another. Cineco, NAU gets millions of dollars from the public purse each year for a handful of clients. And so who's going to pay for it? If you're saying, make NAU, make Cineco available for all Caymanians, who is paying for that? The very same Caymanians who you're saying should get it for free? And then the system to have one government insurance provider overburdened with policies. I only need to invite you to look at what is happening in Florida right now with property insurance, where the government-owned insurance company is essentially saying that they can't take on board any more, policies because they just can't handle it. And everybody's going to them because they can't go anywhere else and get a decent policy, right? That being the case, you have to think about how much that's going to stress Cineco to have all of these clients. And I'm assuming what you're trying to say is that these are going to be non-paying clients. That's a problem. That's a problem. Y'all got to think now, exactly what does that mean for the people of the Cayman Islands? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm trying to enlarge these images a little bit so we can get a better look at these criminals, honey child, who are going around breaking into businesses. So this one, again, was in Bodden Town. The guy was out on his bicycle. I suspect that you guys must know exactly who he is. Showed up with his crowbar in hand. Let me just pull up this image here. This is a little bit better one. Listen, y'all know who these people are, Y'all know who they are. There, that's a better picture. It looks like he has facial hair. I would say medium build, lighter skinned, maybe. Sometimes with black and white photos, it's a little bit hard to tell. But he broke into Grape Tree Cafe there in Bodden Town, one of my little favorite spots for fish and fritters on the weekend, and rummaging through the place looking for cash. Didn't find anything, but there he went with the crowbar in hand, prepared to do this criminal act. Anybody knows him? Trying to cover his face, but somebody can look at him and tell, look at the body shape, look at the, even the way people walk and so forth. You can tell a lot. There he is using the crowbar to break in. And his accomplice, I'm going to show you all this picture, showed up on a bicycle with a dog in tow, which is so crazy. The dog shows up to help commit the crime, I guess. Poor dog. He don't even know what's going on. He's like, I'm just here to hang out. I don't know what's going on here. So here's this lookout guy kind of casing out the place, comes by on a bicycle, and there's a dog in tow. Y'all might be able to identify the dog quicker, but there he is wearing a blue shirt. You know who he is? By all means, please reach out. So this happened in the early morning hours on the 22nd. All right. So this is no bueno. Like I said, these small businesses are having to deal with this sort of thing as a regular occurrence now. And unfortunately, it's just very, very sad. What a mess. All right. So we have this one. We do have some additional footage as well. So like I said, this is a situation where I'm not saying it's the same people, but there has been this week several reports. Somebody says, God help him if Ozzy get there first. We know Ozzy gonna bring out that cow card, honey child. And I'm gonna say he probably needs it. Yes, Ozzy, you get him. Get that cow card ready, honey child. So there he is. Yep. Y'all must know who this man is. All right, let me pull up some other footage. Give me 1 second here now, Bobo and TDs. Let's look at some other footage. They actually some other people broke into Georgetown Yacht Club, but people identified him very, very quickly, honey child. He never stood a chance. Some people were like, oh, I know him. That's Al. Ay. What a hot mess. So let me show you these people. Hold on 1 second. By the way, I had a phenomenal salad yesterday. Oh my God, that was so delicious. My goodness. Okay. Hold on, honey chill. Let me show y'all this one. So in this one, we actually had some video footage as well. Okay, 1 second. So somebody saw his picture and said, yeah, that's Al, man. So no bueno. I don't know if he got anything, but he did break in. So they'll be passing that information over to the popo. And the popo will be dealing with him. All right, so here's his picture now. These are good cameras, honey child. Keep telling y'all, invest in good cameras. There he is. Yep, that's a good picture. You can see the face. You can see the very stomach with. Are those actually? Is that kind of like a 2-pack or a 3-pack? Is that muscles or what that is? What that is in his tummy? Okay, all right, honey. You see it. Good cameras. You can see the color of his pants. His very underwear you can see in this one. Yes, honey child. And then this was some video footage here. Oops, let me take down the picture. Hold on. There he is. Breaking in, looking around, trying to find out how to get in. Good to have some cameras. And there he is again, leaving the property. You can see the very writing on his shirt. What did he have in his hand? He had something. He must have found something. Yeah, man. Look like him get something. There he is. Yep, that was yesterday morning at 4:24 in the morning. He went there like 4:20. All right, so he's been identified as Al Pearson, I believe it is. Anybody know him? The popo will be looking for him now, honey child. He's going to be in court, and I'm assuming this isn't the first time. El Ray says, people, keep your lights on to get better images on your security cameras or have motion detection lights installed. This is a very, very good point, El Ray, because might I tell you something? We even had to increase and update our cameras for this exact same reason, because if the lighting is poor, that is always going to be an issue. So the Ring has floodlights that are floodlights and cameras all in one. They're motion sensor floodlights. So when they detect motion, they will also they're recording the whole time, but the light gives you additional amplification. So believe and trust me, when I tell you that lighting is important for the camera to do its job properly. Even night vision cameras, a degree of lighting becomes essential in those situations as well. So let me see here now. This next one was in West Bay, and all of these happened basically over the last couple of days. People have been inundated with burglaries and stuff. So like I said, they're on the uptick again. Sometimes you can see a correlation between when certain people get out on bail or they are released from prison awaiting a sentencing or other things. They really just continue the same behavior, repeated behavior over and over again. It's pretty wild, to be honest. So via email. Okay, hold on one second. All right. Okay. So let me just pull this one up for you. Yeah, so this person reached out. They had some footage of their burglar as well. And my understanding is someone now has been arrested in relation to this. So give me one second here. West Bay burglary. And then we have video footage here as well that I'm going to share with you guys. So yeah, this one should already be in police custody. The problem, of course, like I've explained to you guys on numerous occasions, you basically, they get bail. So they're out in tutus. And they're back out in the streets and they continue their bad behavior. A lot of it is being fueled by drugs as well. So please do keep that in mind. Ms. Pat reminds us that there's certain criteria for you to be able to qualify for Cineco. I think the suggestion here is that everybody should get it regardless of their qualifications or not. I think the reason why that is the case, Ms. Pat, is because obviously they are trying to not burden Cineco. I think that's the point that a lot of people are just missing. So here's this individual. And then let me show you guys the video footage of this individual as well. So this is at a private residence in West Bay. So there he is, circling around the property, checking doors. And of course, this is when people are at home sleeping. This is unnerving to see these people. Look here, you're just trying to see if did anybody leave the door open? And he was gonna just walk inside your house like that? Like, oh, honey child, that was not gonna be comfortable. Like, what the heck? Yep. There he is. But you get a pretty good, you get to see him walking, and a person's walk can give away a lot. So there he is, walking around the place. With his backpack, ready to stock up and stuff, looking around. Right? What a hot mess, honey Jill. Get yourself good cameras. He's caught him quite a bit. Here's another one here. I don't know where he came back running from, but anyway. This looks like this is... Oh, okay, so he came back from around the back. There he is. So in this instance, our understanding is that the person who has been arrested is, yes, he's been captured. No name yet, but as soon as we know, we'll certainly let you guys know so you can keep be vigilant. So the person said they'd had a robbery last year at the same property, and also some guys scoping things out in the early morning earlier this year, was hoping it had passed. It feels like we're being targeted, but I don't know why. None of us are wealthy or flashy. Thanks in advance for your help. People can identify the man. I understand the correlation between the cost of living and crime, people are struggling. No, honey child, these are just people who are going to rob you no matter what. Let's be very, very clear. They just don't want to work. They have no interest in working. Everton said he's a thief on all 3 islands. Damien says he's a thief on all 3 islands. Everton says, Sandy, it's a 6-pack, not a 2-pack. Well, I didn't see 6. I saw maybe 1.5 pack or 2. El Rey says, man on the job early, right? They have time to get up early in the morning, 4 o'clock to be going robbing people, but they can't get a job at a construction site. I don't think so. Carolyn says, so how do foreigners just visiting do there? Is it common to be robbed there? I wouldn't say that it's common to be robbed, but I think, just taking some precautions certainly helps. So in this case, thankfully, all the doors of the residence were locked. Neighborhood watches need to be on the lookout for each other. I think that all neighborhoods, everybody in the neighborhood should have cameras, because sometimes even in our neighborhood, we've had people say, hey, did your camera pick up somebody came and stole a bicycle or this or that? Did your camera pick it up? And sure enough, in relation to the bicycle thief, our camera picked up the kid, which is a kid, but still, who came and took the bicycle. Carolyn says that repeat offenders should spend some real time in jail and have a plan for release, job, place to live, and rehabilitation. Mandatory, humble opinion. I mean, absolutely. And there is a drug court. So those people who are addicts and their other behaviors being fueled because of the addiction. So a lot of these guys are stealing, they're breaking into cars, they're stealing to be able to have money to buy drugs. Once they are caught, they're oftentimes afforded the opportunity to get into drug court. But honey child, it is tough once you have an addiction, I guess, to really stick with your recovery program. And so what we often see, and sometimes I sit there as the director of Caribbean Haven, gives updates on, what's going on. These guys, they don't even do what they're supposed to do in drug court. They don't go to the sessions, and sometimes the judges say, listen, I've had enough of this. You obviously don't care to help yourself. Here we are trying to help you. You're not going to help yourself, so you're now going to go to jail. And, what are the rehabilitation options in jail? I don't even know. Because the training officer remains on leave, 3-4 years later? Soka said something the other day that had me in stitches. They need Bowen justice. Who's Bowen? Damien asking if Carolyn lives here. I don't know if she lives here or if she's overseas. Siobhan says some people don't want an honest job when doing wrong seems better to them. Yeah, and I guess you work less when you're a thief. Is that right? It's not like you have to go and show up for a full 8 hours on the job. You work less and, All right. Trivia time. Let's win some tickets. We're going to do 2 more tickets today. Somebody was saying they hadn't been contacted yet in relation to the tickets that were won yesterday. So I did message that to the organizers. And I'll ask them to get on it, and I'll send them. We'll do 2 tickets today. I'll send them the names, email addresses, and names of the people who win today. So this is the Capella Music Festival. It is happening tomorrow at the Festival Green at Cayman Bay. I understand that general admission tickets are pretty much all sold out. So you might be able to snag a VIP ticket still. But a big shout out to all of the organizations that have come together to make this event possible. Lots and lots of sponsors, by the way. So the first question this morning is pretty easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All you have to do to win, but you've got to call in 936-2626 is the telephone number. All you have to do to win is tell us the name of one of the numerous sponsors, and there are tons of them. So this should be pretty easy. Get yourself a ticket, honey. Ciao to Capella. 1 more day to go. Music Festival. All righty. Look at that. Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Can I answer for the question?
Yes. Absolutely. And you are right. Cayman Airways is one of the major sponsors, in fact, for the Capella Music Festival. because all sorts of people are coming in from overseas for this event. Lots and lots of performers. So please WhatsApp me your name and number, and I'm going to get that over to the organizers. They're doing e-tickets, so they will send that over to you.
Awesome. WhatsApp on the same number?
Yep, that's perfect.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks to you too. All right, so we've got one winner. Let me pick another question, honey child. Hold on 1 second now. Hold on. I'm looking for a question. Hi, caller. We're about to do another question. We just had a winner. Hello? Okay. All right. Okay. So, let me see here now. Hello, caller. Hi. Hello. Okay. All right. All right. So they have I'm gonna make this one a little bit more challenging. Hi, caller.
So they have
Hi.
Yep.
Yes.
Am I too late?
No, I'm gonna do another question. So they have several stages at the event. Name one of the three stages.
The Capella Music Festival?
Yes.
I wouldn't know. Central stage, I couldn't tell you.
You
Central main stage.
Well, there you go. Yes, there's a main stage. I was gonna say you were close to it. All right, so they have three stages: the main stage, Supernova, and Studio 54. Congratulations.
That's right. Two strokes of dumb luck this morning. Getting the call and making the right answer.
Oh, you weren't calling to win?
Yeah, no, I was.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
I needed luck for you to answer in time, and I needed luck for the other one. So.
All right. So send me your email address because they'll send you e-tickets and name, and we'll get that over to them. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Have a good
all
weekend.
Right. Yes. So, folks, there are three main stages. Sorry, that's all the tickets that we got. I think, like I said, I think they're going to be sold out. So it's going to be quite an event. So that's it. Yeah, we've got today's winners already. Sorry. Okay, honey chow. All right, so they've got the main stage, the Supernova, and Studio 54. So over at Studio 54, you've got people like Chuck Taylor. Yes, caller, we already have a winner.
Okay, thank you.
You're most welcome. All right, so we've got Chuck Taylor, Super C, DJ Preston, the Doctor, DJ Yo-Yo. Live artist is going to be James Geary. We've got DJ Cardiac, DJ Nico. This is like a DJ collection in Cayman. These are like a lot of DJs. DJ Flex, DJ Natural, DJ Craig, One World, DJ Yo-Yo. And that goes from 12 p.m. That's when the gates open, straight up until 11:55 p.m. Now, last time they had food vendors. They had all sorts of people there. So make sure that you go out and enjoy the festivities. Supernova, on the Supernova stage, they have got, is it Urasai, Max, Kazakov, Jardel, Mac, Ryan, Kirk, that's DJ Ryan. They've got live artists at Dan Ebanks, Sugar Daddy, The Neverines, Tiago, Las Palmas, Decades of Perfume, Cliff, Matt Banks, and the show ends 11:55. And then on the main stage, DJ Yo-Yo is also going to be in the main stage. You've got Regeneration Band. DJ Ryan is going to be in the main stage at one point. Live band with Stuart Wilson, DJ Ryan. Couple live performances. You've got Johann Fitzgerald. Live steel pan performance by James Monroe. Yay, I love steel pan. We've got Melody, DJ Cardiac, and then at 3:50 we have Richard Max. Hey, gonna be there for that. Then DJ Set with Scorch Bonnet. Live international band Aria Star, and then we've got DJ Dave Kelly from 107. Live international artists. Is that Iki Hill? Becky Hill. Oh gosh. You would swear I need glasses. Becky Hill. Yes. Sorry. The font was a little bit different. And then they've got the raffle for the car at 7:55-ish. International DJ set with DJ Puffy. Live international band with Kessler Band. And then Damian Marley comes on at about 10:25 and 11:55. The show ends. So they've got quite a huge lineup here, folks. I think depending on what you like, you got all sorts of people in terms of like DJs and performers and stuff. A little something for everybody. So this is going to be really, really good. And to hear that pretty much general admissions like all sold out, I think that's phenomenal. But still go to the website, I guess, and see if you can still score yourself a ticket. So good stuff. Lots and lots of performers. All right. Good. Congratulations to all of our winners. Please send me your information immediately, and I will definitely be sending that out to the organizers so that they can get you your tickets. So you see a lot of the sponsors there. You only needed to name one sponsor, and of course, that winner named Cayman Airways, who's one of the major sponsors of this event. Big shout out to Camana Bay as well, because they sponsor it and they allow them to host it at their venue. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Stephanie, Carolyn says, what a great lineup. It really is. I mean, like I said, it's something for everybody pretty much. Thank you, Stephanie. Says beautiful smile, Sandra. Aw. I hope they don't give out so many VIP tickets where the VIP is super packed and uncomfortable. That happened to me last time. Will you be there? Rough seas. Stephanie says, I wonder if the RCIPS has a department solely that is designated to ongoing monitoring of these CCTV cameras. Well, these cameras here, obviously on private property, the ones that are on public property, they are monitored by 911 Communication Center. I think they have a monitoring center there. But of course, if the police know that a crime is committed in a particular area, there's a certain protocol for them to go through and access the footage, but it's not just randomly monitored 24/7. They have to know that something has happened. Then they'll go access the footage with the view to, getting the footage that they need. Oh, that was the man's name. Mr. Bowen is a gentleman who shot and killed a burglar. Oh, yes, I remember when that happened. Carolyn says she's overseas and she does visit our beautiful island. Wonderful. Okay, still, Carolyn, still one of the safest places in the world, honey child. But yeah, we got a little criminal element here and there. So we let me see here now. I think we're just trying to wrap up a few things. Let me see. Was there anything else I had on the agenda for today? Give me 1 second. Oh my goodness, excuse me. I've got Zeus in the studio today. He's been awfully quiet. He's just sitting here napping, taking it easy. My co-pilot, Miss Stacy's not here today, so he always comes in when it's just me and him. He's like, "Don't put me in my cage. I want to hang out with you, Mama." Okay, you guys reported a couple common sense things. A cow that was all tangled up and stuff. Listen, please check on your animals if you have livestock. Cows and cattle and whatever else out there. Please check on them on a regular basis. I would think that actually that would be a good place to have a camera watching your cow, your cattle, to make sure that they are keeping safe. But it goes without saying that they're animals and there's no need to mistreat an animal. I get it that things might happen. They might have twisted themselves up or whatever. But, making sure that they have fresh water every day, that they're secured in a way that it's less likely for them to injure themselves would really be ideal. Yes, honey child. Needles, somebody reported this morning, you guys might have saw that post, that there was, it was actually packaged still, but who goes around dropping needles on the ground? Like, please, especially at a school. This happened at CIS. So please, folks, I don't know if that was a needle for, I don't know if you're taking insulin or what the heck you're doing with it, but I would encourage you to just be a little bit more cautious with these types of things, because God knows we don't need a child accidentally pricking themselves. or anything like that. Okay. Hey, John. Someone said maybe it's about time the government put some money into the police instead of a $50 million school in the BRAC. The amount of burglaries is insane. We're going to be playing the, hopefully on Monday or Tuesday, we'll be playing the police press conference. So yes, it would be good if the government could fund the police more, because they're saying that they need it, that really they've only had 10 new police officers in the past 16 years. That's says a lot when you think about the population growth that has happened in 16 years. That's ridiculous, actually. So it's not that they haven't gotten staff, but when it comes to police officers, they have only gotten 10 in 16 years. So government needs to think about, again, data-driven decisions, the triple D. They got to think about where the money's going and how they're allocating the money into the most urgent areas. We don't need a $50 million school in Cayman Brac. That just blows my mind. And to think that that was one of the main reasons why they had to remove Mr. Wayne Panton as premier of this country is truly egregious, in my opinion. I mean, just next level crazy, if you ask me. What a conundrum. You got Zeus so spoiled already, says Cameron. He is the most chill dog. Let me tell you something. He does not need anybody to spoil him. You just pick him up and he falls asleep. He's like, he is just too funny. Damien says, refer to Alejandro's dictionary for what? Two Brackers is in power at the moment. Who's the second Bracker? Juliana, and who else? Anyway, one is enough. I mean, I know the Brack, they're very, they sometimes they get up in their feelings like, oh, you guys don't think, and we're like, listen, you're part of Cayman. Like nobody's trying to, nobody's trying to say anything about you're our people. We're all one people, to be clear. But sometimes y'all, oh my gosh, y'all want to believe like, you're different and you're special. And so that just isn't going to work. Ay. What a hot mess. No, honey child, that is not going to work. Anyway, so just having a look here. Ooh, we got to start watching the weather soon. I see Mr. Weatherman watching the tropics. It's soon be that time of year. Hurricane season coming up. What a hot mess. Yes, sir. We're going to keep an eye on that. I tell you. Oh, the commissioner. Oh, okay. I mean, okay. I forget that he is a Bracker, right? Kurt Walton, yes. Okay. Anthony says, Google police graduation. You'll see the amount of graduation classes. Retention is the problem. Well, yes, not only retention, but replenishment also, because a lot of them are retiring and they become a retirement age or going back home overseas or whatever. So there is some of that is definitely happening. Yes, Everton. You will thank me later. I'm sure of that. All right, folks. I think that's it. That's what we got. We didn't get to do our political thing. We'll do that maybe on Monday's show. Some days we run out of a little bit of time. I know our guests were here longer than they were going to be. So we appreciate them staying on. And of course, thank you guys all for your feedback. So it was very close, 45 to 55%. So 10% in the poll, in yesterday's poll, about whether or not you block someone for breaking the rules. The thing that I will say, what is interesting from this, he's had many chances, Everton. Trust me, this isn't about second or even third chances. What does occur to me is that, again, you, the people, are not going to enforce. When you say that rules are meant to be followed, you guys are just like, well, maybe if somebody breaks it, we can give them a couple more chances. And so when you calculate how many chances have been given, I think you will see that we did what we had to do, and we're going to just keep it moving. But you guys are soft. Now we know why crime is where it's at, because you're like, oh, no, don't send that person to jail. Oh, that's only my nephew who's a gangbanger and killing people. Oh, no, and I can't call the popo on him. Y'all need to toughen up a little bit, folks. Anywho, have yourselves a fantastic weekend. Yes, honey child. Be safe and be gracious. Have a good weekend. Enjoy Capella at Music Festival. You know, you can take the kids. It's going to be good music. You can take the kids earlier in the day and have them back home by 8 o'clock. If you don't want to stay out too late, sometimes we do that. We'll swap off. One person will stay until a little bit later in the day and the evening hours, and then I'll come home. And it is what it is. All right. So cow still clear, but needs some water. I'll check back later. Oh, thank you so much. This person just said they checked in the cow. The man, yes, that is so wonderful. Thank you so much for doing that. Yes. All right. That's it. Nope. Elaine, we all good today. Miss Amelia, remind me on Monday that we need to talk about your painting of the roads, because there's another development here that we need to encourage. We need to encourage you all to be aware of. Yeah. All right. That's it. Have a fantastic weekend. Be safe. No drinking and driving, please. No speeding and driving, please. Okay. See y'all Monday.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.